everyone, and welcome back to the Bitter Geeks Podcast. Thank you for listening this week. We are, well, the few of us that are here are going to be sitting around watching Aquaman, and so what we're going to be doing for the next several episodes, depending when they release. So for the next few weeks, we're going to be watching each of the DC movies post Justice League in anticipation of the Snyder Cut / Wonder Woman 84. So we're going to be watching, the first of which is going to be obviously Aquaman, then we're going to go Shazam, and then probably Birds of Prey at some point. So since we're going to be doing that, if you guys have listened to our podcast in the past, we have done commentaries for me and Katie have done Man of Steel, we've done BVS, a few of us did Wonder Woman, we've done the theatrical cut of Justice League, unfortunately, but hey, that was a fun time to just shit on that movie. I'm sorry you weren't here for that, Dash.
No, I wasn't, but sounds great.
It really was a good time. It was a drudge to get through, but when you're just literally just cracking up at how awful it is, it actually makes it kind of a good time. Well, speaking of Dash, she's going to be pretty much one of the only ones here, so if you want to go ahead and properly introduce yourself.
So, hi everyone, I am Dash, and you can find me on Twitter at lee-ann.
Alright, and then Rebecca's busy with some essay writing right now.
Sorry, I can introduce myself real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm Rebecca. You can find me on Twitter at Rebecca_MJ12.
Alright, so Rebecca, she's probably going to be in and out, but she'll be at least listening along. She might chime in here or there. Al was supposed to be here, but if you've been listening to our last few episodes, you know, it's been a been an interesting ride with him as far as trying to get him to start on time, but it's okay. So if he shows up at some point, he's Alex Speed. I think you can find him at Alex Speed on Twitter. So before we get started, so Dash, real quick, so what was your experience with Aquaman? How when you first saw it, what do you think of it, and how does it rank as far as the rest of the DCU?
Honestly, I really enjoyed it the first time. I thought the CGI was absolutely incredible. The cinematography was incredible. I think James Wan. I'm such a fan of James Wan's horror films. So I was really excited to see what he was going to do for a comic book movie, essentially. And I thought he had a very distinct vision for what he wanted for Aquaman. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, they were trying to go for the more humorous approach, and I kind of see that, but I just thought he did a great job, and I hope he does start to bring more horror elements into any future Aquaman films. And I think Jason was fantastic. Jason he's really made the character into his own. I know a lot of people kind of think with Jason he sort of acts sort of the same in films, but I don't really think that's true. He brought something really cool to this, and I've always loved his casting, so props to Zack for that one. And there's a lot, to look forward to. I'm really excited to rewatch it because I haven't seen it in a while. But other than that, I thought that's the thing about the DCEU films, right? It's just I've always been a supporter of the whole whatever the director wants to do, so I don't try to compare it to other films. I think that's a silly thing to do, because they're not trying. I mean, they sort of were trying to do the whole collective universe, but I just look at each film kind of individually, and then it's kind of oh, cool, it connects to whatever it connects to. But just as if just looking at it as its own movie, there was a lot to like. There was so much to look at.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know there's a lot of rant. We'll get to it when we actually get to the parts. I'll probably comment on it, but yeah, just overall, I very, very much enjoyed it. I can't even remember my ranking for where it is it's usually just in the middle somewhere. For the rest of the DC films, it kind of just jumps around a little bit, but it's usually just right in the middle of it. So yeah, it's not the worst film, it's not the best film, but I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, so for me, I saw the movie 2 or 3 nights early, so before everyone else saw it. Well, actually, no, I'm wrong. I remember, so Aquaman, I think they actually did a fan screening for it, across the U.S. I feel because they've been doing that with a lot of the DCEU. I remember they did that with Wonder Woman, they did that with Man of Steel, which is how I saw that movie. BVS, I won actually a contest to go see that early. So with Aquaman, I also saw that early as well. Me and my brother saw it early, and I really loved it. Like, I feel like it's not quite as deep as Man of Steel, but I feel like it covers a lot of the same like thematic ground that Man of Steel does. And as far as like Clark's arc versus Jason's arc, and how there's a lot of parallels in that journey, and the visuals are fantastic. I think the story is great. Like, I remember when we first talked about it, when we first did our review for the podcast, how we said like the movie is good. Like, it could use a little breathing room here and there. Like it does kind of move fairly quickly as far as the plot. And that's fair. I mean, it's true. It could benefit from like, because this thing like Zack knows when to give a scene a second to breathe. Not that James doesn't, but in this particular movie, things move fairly quickly. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just something you want to make the movie a little bit better. Something that's already good, make it a little bit better. And I really love the movie. I love pretty much the entire cast. It does have its cheesy moments, but overall, I think it's a really good time, and I think it's a really great addition to the DCEU. So for myself, I'd probably rank it like BVS, Man of Steel, Birds of Prey, and then Aquaman, and then probably Shazam, Wonder Woman. And then I think I'd go Suicide Squad, then that's it.
Yeah.
Alright, so instead of me keeping rambling about this movie, let's just go ahead and start watching. So if any of you guys are watching along, I have my movie paused right at the first second of the movie. So for everyone who's going to sync up, let me know when... Well, Dash, let me know when you're good to go, and then we can go and press play.
Oh, I'm totally good to go. So whenever you press play, I will press play. So just...
Okay. All right, so if everyone listening along or watching along, we're starting 3, 2, 1.
Oh, my volume's not on. I was like, there's no sound.
Okay, can I just say, just like Man of Steel, I love how they use the Warner Brothers logo and stuff as like a mixture of like opening credits / like mixing it into how the world looks in that movie. Like, I love the underwater thing going on here, and also I love the DC intro that they made like post like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, this first shot is a very like horror film shot. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I honestly kind of forgot how this movie started, so this is great. I feel like I'm watching it for the first time.
I remember watching in the theater that first jolt of lightning that they hear that did scare me. Gotta say too, like Nicole Kidman just looks absolutely fantastic in this.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman was such a interesting casting choice that I wasn't expecting, and then honestly, I feel like I'm always surprised when Nicole Kidman gets cast in anything, but then I'm just like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. She's so good.
And wasn't it Jason, too, that, like, approached Tamora Morrison to actually be the actor who played his dad?
I don't remember, but that wouldn't surprise me. This is so funny. I love that they use this dog as also, like, a marker of how much time has passed.
Yep.
Like, it's such a small thing to have, but...
Yeah.
It really works.
Oh yeah, I agree. And I just love I know it's part of the comics, but like the lighthouse and like how that has more meaning than just being like, oh, the place where Arthur grew up, and also it's like thematically it's very like the thing that brought the two together. It's like it has a lot more meaning than just being where Arthur lived, you know.
Yeah, no, totally.
God, she looks so good.
She really does.
And the costuming in this movie, I think, like, while I think I do kind of prefer some of the Atlantean look in, like, Justice League a little bit more. My daughter clearly agrees. But I think it also looks fantastic in this, too. Especially, Arthur and Mira, I think, in this. Arthur, Mira, and Atlanta here look fantastic, I think. Mm-hmm. And Orm, too.
Oh, we will get to Orm.
Yeah.
I do love Patrick Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Me too. And it's funny because, you know, like Zack and James have both worked with him, and Patrick actually had that little cameo in BVS as the voice of the president.
Yeah.
So it's cool that he was actually able to come back and actually play, like, a huge part of the DCU. And he's coming back for Aquaman too, right?
I hope so.
I know you can see that they did use a tiny bit of CGI on Tamora Morrison's face to make him look younger, but I feel like compared to, like, a lot of what the MCU does, I think this is just enough.
Yeah,
to not look
awful.
fake. Not that it looks bad in the MCU, but there are some times where it just, like, they do just a little too much of the de-aging to make me be like, okay, like, I know that that's not the actual person.
Specifically, we can talk about Tony's face in that one scene in Civil War.
Yeah. But, I mean, with that, at the very least, you could say it's a hologram, so it's like, okay, it has that excuse, but even then, it's evolving technology, but it's been getting better progressively.
It's funny because I feel like I on Twitter that commentary has been coming up with Shazam and
John Glover.
And John Glover, and I love that everyone was like, but John Glover's looked the same age for years. I'm like, I agree. Like, if you watch him in Smallville, he pretty much looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Or even, like, going from, like, Batman Forever to now, he looks pretty much the same too.
Yeah.
Oh, little baby
like
Arthur.
If they had de-aged him too much, it would have been unrealistic.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that was. I know we're not talking about Aquaman, but I just want to say, look, real quick. And because I know we're talking about it in Shazam, but I want to say it real quick. Seeing John Glover was such a pleasant surprise in Shazam.
Oh yeah, I didn't know he was in it, and then he was, and I was like, oh, John Glover.
And then he dies very similarly to how he dies in Smallville.
I know, right?
I'm now looking up who the hell John Glover is because I don't know.
Oh, you.
Oh, hey, there he is.
I'm sorry. I was charging my phone.
I mean, we have started, but we can pause it if you want to, like, catch up or, you know.
Oh, no, it's fine. You guys can go on. I can probably assume what's going on based on you guys talking about it.
So right now, the Atlanteans have just broken into their house. Yeah.
So you're near the end?
No.
We're like right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning. So we're like, Atlanta's about to fight the Atlantean soldiers in the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
We like literally just started.
Yeah, that's why I was like, you could definitely just, you know.
Oh no,
I love this scene. I remember this scene was one of the ones they would put for like press tour and stuff, and when you got to see like Atlanta fighting, it was
really cool.
Yeah, I was surprised that, you know, Nicole Kidman did most of her own stunts, didn't she?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Nicole's a, you know, she's been in this industry for a while. I feel like she doesn't really do action films very often, so
yeah.
She probably was like, yes, they're like gonna let me do like.
Wasn't she in Catwoman? Didn't she play Catwoman?
No, that's Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, jeez.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, I got them so confused.
No, that's alright. This whole idea of parents having to leave their children so sad.
Yeah. But at least for this one, it was a little different because, because most of the times with movies like this where the parent leaves, it's usually where the parent turns out to be, dead or gone.
Yeah.
But, with Arthur, he got to keep both his parents.
That's true. Oh, I remember. Okay, so the line that just went was that whole where she's surprised at her tears because the sea carries away their tears. I remember when I watched this for the first time, I was like, oh, what a line! It's just really surprised me. You were kind of talking about how the de-aging doesn't look too bad, but I don't know, in this past shot it kind of looked bad.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah. It could be because I'm watching it in 4K though.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah. I love this. Although every time when I see kids banging on glass in aquariums and stuff, I'm like, please stop.
Oh god, I know.
I'm like, it's so loud for the fish. This is so cool. I love this. It really is.
Yeah, I remember when the trailer came out, everyone was like, "Oh my god, oh no, was it the trailer or was it for the poster?"
Oh, it's a poster.
Oh, the Getty shark.
The Getty Images shark. Yeah.
And then and then the ironic thing, because I was at Comic-Con when the trailer debuted, and they were giving away free shirts, and I got one, and it was the Aquaman logo made of Getty shark.
Amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've told you this before, Al, but it's okay.
You probably did.
That was such a stupid, thing for people to get so angry about.
I know.
I just remember everyone's sarcastic comments. Just, oh, were you expecting them to, go into the ocean, take a picture of a real shark?
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, it was unfortunately because of the whole Justice League thing that kind of this weird thing was like, oh, DC did something cheap, blah blah blah. And like, oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Really? Is that Amy?
Even though, I know Junkie is doing a different score for Arthur in Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. But I do love this score.
Oh my god, I am so sorry. I'm Emily. I am not together today.
It's okay, Al, I didn't even hear what you said.
Oh. Never mind. I'll save myself.
You'll hear it later if you re-listen to the podcast.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I am.
You don't have to re-listen. That's fine.
Would you say who's Emily?
No.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
It's fine, don't worry. I accidentally said Amy instead of Emily.
Oh no, that's okay. It's my wife's name, so I always get mixed up too.
Oh.
It was because we call her Emmy. So
okay.
Emmy, yeah. Emmy winner. He won for Watchmen, didn't he? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, he won an Emmy.
Yeah, okay.
Watchmen.
I still need to watch that.
Me too.
I told you, so I'm pretty sure I told Al in the group chat like a while back when it first happened, but Dash, did I ever tell you that actually I had a full-on conversation with Yaya at Comic-Con that year?
Yeah, you did tell me that.
That's
I was
cool.
like,
Yeah, so when the cast first showed up, I yelled his name, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's your name?" And then like we had like a very brief interaction. He asked me like what I thought of the suit, and I said I thought it looked fantastic, and he said, "Oh, I can't wait for you guys to see it."
It does look incredible. So
It does. They were really able to pull it off well, and I was really worried for a while there.
Yeah, because I thought they were gonna try to make it like not look like the comics.
Yeah.
Because most of the times I noticed this in a lot of comic book movies, and by a lot I mean mostly Marvel, where they show like what the original costume looked like
In a
and then they were
cheesy
like,
way, yeah.
"Oh, this is ridiculous. This is stupid." And then but then when you see Aquaman, it's like they fully embrace the fact that these costumes are like the colors that they are and how they look, and it's nice to have a comic book movie that sort of embraces that ridiculousness, but updates it to where it looks cool.
Yeah. And I remember when they were promoting this movie, they waited a long time before they revealed the actual suit. At least how it looked on screen. Like at Comic-Con that year, they did show, or was it Comic-Con that year or the year before or the year after? I can't remember, but I think at Comic-Con they showed like the toys version of him. But of course, the toys you never know for sure like how exactly it's gonna look. But then they had that trailer that revealed it, and I think it looks fantastic. Because I remember in the first trailer, like they didn't show him in any suit like at all. So of course we're like, okay, obviously they're hiding it because they want it to be a big reveal, and I think it looked great. The costume design itself in this movie is just so. Pretty much the entire DCU is great.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, we've talked about it in previous episodes, especially when we were talking about the Snyder Cut and comic accuracy. I'm like, there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting a costume to be comic accurate, like for fans to want that. But they also it's just people don't realize that some of them don't translate on screen very well.
Yeah.
But you can just modify them in a way.
Yeah.
That looks good for whatever aesthetic you're going for in the film. And like you were saying, Al, for this one, they really embraced what the Aquaman outfits and costumes and suits look like, but they're still modernized in a way that doesn't look out of place to the world that they've created in this film. It's very distinct to its world, and even sorry, Jason's just fighting right now. But even and I know this was more on Zack, but the choice to continue basically Jason's tattoos to the whole chest area and torso, that was really cool. So then, and that texture is in the Aquaman suit. So
in both BVS and Aquaman, and Justice League. I mean, sorry.
Yeah. So that in itself is again another semi-modernizing way of incorporating what's already there in the comics, but also incorporating part of Jason's culture as well. So that was really cool. That is such a cool choice, and I'm glad it's going to continue on. I don't agree with them putting it in the comics right now, but it's really just either make him stay white or change him to Polynesian. Yeah,
there is no middle ground here. You can't give him Polynesian tattoos and be like, oh, see, we're making him look like Jason, and still have him be white. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I never understood that because and you can't make the excuse and say, well, he was never supposed to be white in the original comics. Well, that's the thing though. The most popular thing usually changes the canon.
Yep.
Before with say for example Iron Man. Iron Man's character was nothing like how it is in the movies, but after the movies became popular, and
then they changed how he looked in the comics.
Yeah. And then with Wonder Woman, it was the same. They kept putting her.
They
in
literally used
the
the BVS look as her look now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then BVS and Wonder Woman came out, and they finally made her look have Amazon-like armor.
Yep. I do feel like, so going into the movie, because I know we've been really off tangent talking about the costuming, I do love the banter between Manta and Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very comic booky, it's a little cheesy, but like, it totes that line without totally crossing into like, okay, this is just ridiculous, but it works. It worked for the tone of the movie.
Yeah. I honestly, like, a lot of people, again, there's a bit of a commentary on it that, you know, like, oh, it was heading towards, like, what the MCU is like and blah, blah, blah. I was like, honestly, when I was watching it, there's only one particular scene that I can think of that is, like, overly cheesy. But everything else I felt just was very much within, like, the spirit and the tone of the film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where you guys are at, but I just got to the part where Aquaman literally made a chant and threw that long pole right at Manta's dad's chest.
Oh, so you're ahead of us. Actually.
You're actually a little bit ahead of us, yeah. It's literally about to happen, but you are ahead of us.
Yeah. You're ahead probably by like 20 seconds.
Yeah, he's steaming on the ground right now.
Yeah.
Trying to get up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and also, before I forget, the actor who plays Black Manta's dad actually ends up in Swamp Thing, produced by James Wan.
I saw that. Yeah.
Which I totally forgot.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. Like, there it is. But he's in a lot of stuff.
There we go, Al. Now we're at the spear.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, this definitely adds to an interesting moral dilemma for Arthur throughout the movie without it being, like, the main, like, his main arc, but it does add a lot to him and why he does what he does and why he changes from here to the beginning, or to the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of sad how, you know, it's kind of, you know, because Mantis, I don't know, I'm still looking at the scene, but, you know, Arthur could have saved him, but he was like, you killed innocent people, you have to ask the sea for mercy. And it's like, it's very, I guess, unheroic, quote unquote. But like, that's also what I liked about Arthur in this scene, because, you know, he's not super heroic. He's not like the golden boy hero.
Yep.
And I kind of liked that sort of thing.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's probably a bit what's the word? Kind of like it probably feels more out of place because you didn't see Arthur properly in what his entire arc was in Justice League.
Yeah.
It probably would have. I mean, I still think it was fine because like they still show Arthur in this movie as the reluctant like hero.
Yeah.
As the reluctant king, etc. But I feel it probably would have connected better to the proper Justice League.
No, yeah, I get you. And that's the thing, like, I've always appreciated that Jason has always been, like, this movie takes place immediately after Zack's Justice League. So...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too, and people saying, like, oh, this movie won't fit in Snyder's canon. But, like, why would Jason lie and say that it does if it doesn't?
Yeah, it will.
If you think about it, like, how would it not fit into Snyder's canon when this movie was, like, probably filmed maybe, I don't know, a few months or so after Justice League finished, or quote-unquote sort of finished filming, and before Joss came in. So.
Yeah, and then that's the thing, too, like, watching this movie, as far as I can see, there wouldn't be anything that inherently contradicts Zack Snyder's Justice League, because all they say is, oh, when you help defeat Steppenwolf. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that still stands, I'm assuming, in, you know...
Yeah.
So unless Steppenwolf somehow isn't decapitated in Justice League, or isn't somehow, you know, defeated, then I think this movie still stands as part of, technically, Zack's canon. Even if Zack says otherwise.
Yeah. You know what's also funny about that mentioning that? Can you imagine, like, being Arthur after you just realize that there is more worse out there in the universe than just everything that you saw in Metropolis.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too, or part of like what's going on in Zack Snyder's Justice League. What I think is gonna kind of end up happening is like that's kind of one of the reasons why he's like, you know what, I need to go see my dad, and Jason has said that's why he denies Volko and Mira at the end of Justice League, and he wants to go see his dad. Because I imagine after all of that, he's like, I need to make sure my dad's okay. You know?
Yeah.
I think I also, just in terms of this film in itself, is that I love that they have these scenes right now with Arthur and his father after you're just seeing him leave someone's father to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice juxtaposition to that. So.
Yeah, it reminds me of when Superman was going through all that stuff in BVS, and then he had to just call his mom.
Yeah.
DC really loves its moms, more so than the comics.
Oh yeah, 100%. Strong moms all around.
But yeah, and then there was this scene.
I love this. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It totes the line without. I would say the only thing I would change is the pink phone case. Like that's.
Yeah. That was like, oh, okay.
Hey, maybe his daughter got it for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like they use it as a way of being like, oh, see, haha, big tough guy has pink phone case. Like.
Yeah. It's a little like on the nose.
Yeah. See, like the scene itself isn't terrible. It's literally the only thing I would change. Otherwise, it's fine. Like I don't hate it. I don't absolutely love it, but it's fine.
Yeah, it does seem very like forced in that way. Yeah, for sure. With the stickers and everything on it too, like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're right. Could be like he has a daughter, and daughter picked out the phone case.
Oh, yeah. And so, one thing I really like about this movie, like, I am still so miffed that this movie did not get any sort of recognition for its CGI.
That made me so mad, and that like other stuff was nominated that wasn't nearly as deserving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they made the excuse and say, oh, well, it's because it came out near December, which was the time where all the things closed. And it's like, I've seen last-minute entries.
Woo! Sorry, guys. I love Patrick. Look, we just watched The Conjuring. I love Patrick Wilson.
I'm always like impressed with how like smooth his hair is. Like the amount of gel that they must have put in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like Draco Malfoy levels in like the first two Harry Potter movies.
And it's funny because in the comics, Orm isn't blonde. So to kind of make him look, quote unquote, like kind of like the comic book Aquaman, I think kind of makes it a little more interesting too. Because the blonde hair, blue eyed Aquaman is what people expected before Jason.
Yeah.
And to kind of have that be like his enemy in this, I think also, I don't know if it was intended or not, but I feel like it definitely can be viewed as like, okay, well, he's almost kind of like Jason is battling what is known in the comics as true to be Aquaman. Like in this instance, he's the true because Jason is a half-breed, he's not the true king,
I also felt it was like a reference to how the perfect I felt like Orm represented the quote-unquote perfect kind of physical appearance, like blonde hair, blue eyes, royalty, prideful, kind of like that.
I think that's definitely part of it, too.
Yeah.
I love this armor. It looks so good.
Even, and Dolph Lundgren, like, I know he's been known to play this, like, a lot of cheesy roles. I think he delivers a really good performance given what he was given,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I buy it. Like, I could definitely see him like, as, like, a character in this universe. And I like how, like, he's not inherently bad. He's just doing what he thinks is best, and he even kind of admits in the end that, like, he doesn't outright say he's wrong for choosing Orm, but he does kind of subtly admit it, especially when he embraces Arthur in the end as the new king.
Wait, who are we talking about? Hold on, I gotta...
We're talking about Mira's dad here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think...
I forget his name.
Mira's dad, he was just doing what was best. Oh, and here's the first thing about this movie, like, random, out-of-nowhere explosion.
Yeah. I remember at the time, I'm like, oh, this does seem a little convenient, but then when you find out that it was deliberate,
yeah,
I was like, okay. Like, at first I was like, okay, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but they fixed it later on.
Yeah.
But my question is, okay, I don't know if we'll have this answered in Zack Snyder's Justice League or not. So, like, in this movie, they do kind of say Arthur has never properly been to Atlantis. So, what would you call, like, where they held the mother box? Because that happens, obviously, in Zack's version.
Yeah. I'm assuming they wouldn't keep that in Atlantis, though. Like, it makes sense. Well, remember, there's 7 kingdoms, right? So, I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Like, maybe they just kept it on, like, the ancient part of Atlantis. Like, kind of like this, where, like, no one really goes to anymore.
Yeah. Oh my god, this scenery.
This looks incredible.
It does.
How was this not recognized? Look at this. This. Hell yeah.
I love it. And when he hits the propeller...
Yeah.
So, like, what other movies were nominated, like, over this one?
So it would have been the 2019 Oscars or 2000... Yeah, it had to have been 2019.
2019.
Okay, let me see. So, looks like that movie First Man won.
Let me just tell you, I know what was nominated. It was Infinity War, and it's pissing me off.
But it didn't movie though, did it?
There was a couple different ones. Yeah, First Man won it. Oh, Ready Player One. Basically, it was a bunch of Disney films, because it was like Star Wars, Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Christopher Robin.
And Christopher Robin was good but like I feel like I would probably take Ready Player One off that list. Not that it was bad, because it did require a ton of CGI, but I just think this pulls it off better for what it was trying to do. I don't know. It is hard when... I don't think there was necessarily terrible CGI that year. I probably would have taken off The Last Jedi, because I imagine that's probably what was nominated. Or that, or Solo. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Amber Heard just appeared out of the water, and she's beautiful. And it's also, I know this might end up being inevitable, but I'm still not changing my mind on the whole Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing. I still don't like Johnny Depp. I don't think I'm ever gonna have my mind changed on that. So if that's a problem for anyone listening, I'm not sorry.
Yep. I actually just bought a Mara tank top today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is cool.
And also gotta say, like, 'cause I remember I got her Funko Pop for Justice League in this. They both look great.
Yeah.
And also another.
I wish.
Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Al.
I wish we could have kept the armor that she wore in Justice League. I just like that armor the most.
No, I get that. I love both, but I imagine as far as like for practicality, it might not have been like for her to be like an entire movie in that thing. Like I get it, but I just think design wise, the armor from Justice League looks better. My only gripe with this movie is not with the movie, but I guess with Mira's look is that like I feel like they could have used, not that it looks terrible, but I think they could have used a different wig.
The red is like overly red. Yeah.
Well, because it's weird because they go from like in Justice League to where it's like kind of like more naturally red and straight to this being more like red and poofy. So it's like really bright red. So I don't know. I don't think it looks terrible. It doesn't like take me out of the movie entirely, but I feel like it could have been done better.
I think what looks weird about it is the fact that, like, technically if you have like a brighter color for your hair, is that if it's wet or underwater, it should look darker, but it just like remained the same shade throughout like the entire movie.
Yeah.
This is like a past point now, but like with regards to the practicality of the suit, I'm not sure like that whether or not this suit is more practical than the Justice League one, because she said in like multiple interviews that like she couldn't sit down and she had to like lie on this like board that they gave her. So like
For Justice League or for this?
I would expect both suits to have been pretty inflexible. Yeah. Regardless. So yeah, I don't know. And so this is like one of my favorite shots in the movie coming up now.
Oh, of the tidal wave, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like it looks great when you see it finally happen, and it is kind of terrifying too.
Oh yeah,
it is terrifying. Can you imagine seeing that?
It's funny because that bit of this.
It's such a moment for Arthur too, because it's like he knows he can survive this,
but as he knows his dad probably will die. Yeah. Now, one thing though, like I know it's in the comics and it's more explained in the comics, but they don't really ever, because it's coming up here in a second. They never really explain why Mira has her hydrokinesis powers, and like no one else really does.
Yeah. Can you like when he's calling for his dad, I was like, well, how can he hear you in the water?
True. I think it's just a natural gut reaction of like him trying to get.
A natural reaction.
You know, it's funny thing that now that I really think about it, how like James Wan said he was never a fan of the air bubble thing, but like this is technically kind of an air bubble.
It's just an air bubble. It's like a half bubble.
Also, she does look really good there. Not gonna lie.
I remember I was saying this, I think in the chat, about, I'm sorry to talk about Avatar for like a quick second, but I remember I was saying that about Avatar, like, they can take water out of your body. So, just something I haven't mentioned, just for like a quick second.
Sorry, I disappeared there for a second.
sorry, Al. Same here.
No. I had to go to the bathroom, so I just like left.
I was talking about water leaving the body.
Oh, okay. See how like her hair doesn't look bad here because it looks darker because it's wet. Like this is not a bad color. Like it kind of should have been that color.
Yeah.
It's just like slightly darker.
Mm-hmm.
So can she bend blood?
It's a good question.
She bent wine, so like.
I mean, in theory,
theoretically.
Yes.
She a whole water bender.
Yeah. I think that's like the whole theory about anyone who has like control over water at this point.
Yeah, at this point, you're looking. Yeah.
I love this montage of this.
Yeah. It's sad because those are actual like places.
Yeah. A lot of this is like actual footage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I love about this, right? It's just like using real world. This very much to me feels kind of like I love that both this film and like BVS uses the news and the media like to the benefit of the storyline. It's not just there like just as, you know, this random montage, like it's there to to truly like prove a point. And like in BVS, the media itself is very much a character, more so than just a part of the plot. But that kind of stuff, like having, you know, the news report, even if it like the reporters aren't real reporters, it really grounds it in the real world.
Yeah. Oh, can I just say though? So you know how I was saying how like Tamora Morrison's CGI face actually didn't look too bad. Willem Dafoe's,
it's not great.
His face just looks way too smooth. Like it's just he looks like a he looks like a toy.
Yeah.
That's how most CGI is. They think if the smoother the face, the younger they look. But it's like, even young faces have wrinkles in it, too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But I know, kind of going back to, like, how Zack dealt with Aquaman and Justice League, I know, like, when Zack did the Aquaman scene for Justice League, I remember he did some interview saying, like, well, one of the reasons why I did the air bubble, just for me, I couldn't come up with a realistic reason of why or how he could actually physically talk underwater. So, I mean, if James wants to figure that out, that's great for him, but just for me, it didn't really make any sense. Like, I totally get that, just because, like... And James doesn't even try to explain it. He just says, oh, they can just talk underwater. That's part of...
Yeah.
Like, it's not that deep.
They just talk underwater.
They can understand each other, yeah. Oh my god, I have, like, a really intense fear of jellyfish, so this is not great.
For a second, I thought you were going to praise the visual effects, but no, I didn't realize you... didn't realize your phobia.
Yeah. I watched this movie in Screen X, which was interesting.
What's that?
Because basically, for anyone who doesn't know what Screen X is, basically what it is, it's a style of theater where, like the regular style where it's like right at the front of it is your movie screen, but they film additional footage that the screen extends onto the walls on the sides.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So,
okay. So that's it's funny because down here in San Diego, in one of our museums, we have it's called an IMAX theater, where basically the screen takes up like the majority of the room all around you.
Yeah.
So that, I guess that would be the comparison here, but. Again, well, I'm sorry. I know I'm going back to this, but his face just looks too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That doesn't work for me.
That's fine. But yeah, so basically, this movie in Screen X was it was essentially just all of the underwater scenes were really just extended.
God, I wish I really wish I could have seen that.
Oh, and there's the Annabelle.
Oh yeah, here in a second.
There it is.
Oh, okay, so I am ahead of you.
I love how they show so many of the the plastic rings for like cans.
Yeah, the unfortunate truth.
Yeah, that's sad. Okay, I'm just gonna say this once, so I don't have to comment on it every single time. But as someone, like, as a bisexual, basically any scene that Jason and Em, like where they're standing beside each other, my stress levels, honestly. So that's the only thing I will say.
God, if only Danielle was here.
Yeah.
Everyone is distracted.
And then there's also Patrick Wilson, like, on it. I don't know. There's a lot going on for me. Amber Heard is so pretty. Jesus.
She is.
The Gateway Bridge is a remnant of the old one. It's also the only way in or out of the capital.
I want to... Dude, sharks are, like, the coolest form of transportation.
I wonder how much of the sequel we're gonna actually spend time like in Atlantis, because I feel like that's the one thing in this movie that, like, yeah, we see it, but I feel like we don't spend like a ton of time actually there, like seeing what the culture is actually like beyond the battle and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love this.
Me too. And I love the score too. The score is fantastic.
Like, what is the plot of Aquaman 2 if we don't know already?
I don't think James has said anything about it.
Oh, okay. Alright.
So years in the dark as we are, Al.
I love that. I love that Arthur's just still so amazed by this because like he's resented like Atlantis
For so
this
long,
entire
yeah.
time.
Yeah. I know he'll probably never appear yet, like not in the sequel, but I would love to see Aqualad.
I'd love to see the Aqualad from Young Justice specifically.
Yeah, that's the one I meant.
Yeah, because nothing against Garth or whatever, but he's just far less interesting to me. And the Young Justice version, who actually is now part of the comics now, he's just far more interesting to me.
Yeah.
He's not part of the he wasn't part of the comics before?
No, Young Justice created him as a new character, and then he was in the comics after.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Young Justice is fantastic.
I feel like the first 2 seasons are. The third one does take a little bit of a dip for me, but it's still good television. Like, it's not bad. It's just... I feel
like with the third season for that show is just that a little too much time had passed between having to do the third season because it was originally canceled, right?
Yeah.
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 We use this air pocket as an extra layer of propulsion. Only the hybrids can breathe water as well as air.
Plus, it keeps the animals out. They get this.
I really want to know how Willem Dafoe's vocal is going to be in Justice League now that we know he's coming back. Obviously not coming back, but now that we're actually going to see him. Like how it's actually going to compare to this version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, it's so hard looking at Willem Dafoe after I saw The Lighthouse. Not expecting him to start muttering nonsense.
I still haven't seen The Lighthouse, but I've seen a couple of scenes from The Lighthouse, and it was just like him and Robert Pattinson like yelling at each other in gibberish, basically.
What scenes did you see?
To be honest, I don't know. I have no idea what the context of it was. It was like one of those like script to scene videos where they like showed the actual script and what the actors were reading as it played on screen.
Okay,
so.
I know which one you thought then.
I'm sorry, we're not doing a whole lot of talking about the actual plot of this movie or anything.
I always enjoy in anything that has to do with kind of like an underwater adventure or even like a pirate adventure. Whatever they're searching for always happens to be on like this rolled up canvas.
Yep, like a map.
It's not, map thing.
I love the storytelling in this too. Like, I love the history of Atlantis. I love how how they tie it all together. I just think that like. I love this. I remember we saw this in a picture that James Wan tweeted, and we all loved it so much. Like, because we weren't being fed much Aquaman all the time. So I do have a question for you guys, because I can't remember if I asked this or not in our last episode. So, is the ancient Atlantean king that we're seeing in Justice League, is that supposed to be the same Atlan as here, or do you think it's a different king entirely? Because I'm still confused.
I think we said it might have been different, but we also don't know.
Because I looked at the Wikipedia page, and the Wikipedia page says that is King Atlan, but like I don't think there's anywhere that says that is actually the same character. I don't know.
So wait. So I'm okay. That confuses me now. So we got Zeus in this, right? In the Justice League.
That
was Zeus, right?
Yes.
And then we also had Ares. So does that mean that the king here is taking the place of Poseidon, or does like Poseidon even exist?
No, I think no, because in the Justice League thing, I think the whole point was it's the Atlanteans, the Amazonians, and the humans all coming together. I don't think the king of Atlantis is taking the place of one of the gods. I just think he's coming on behalf of Atlantis.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right.
My whole thing is I just don't know if that king is Atlan or just another Atlantean king or what.
Mm-hmm.
It is Atlan.
Because it's a different actor entirely. But I don't know. That doesn't always mean that it's. I mean, it happens in movies all the time where like two different actors play the same character, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could just be one of those things where it's meant to be Atlan and they used a different actor, but like they were never planning on like doing any kind of close-up shots anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
another random explosion.
Yeah. Yeah, convenient.
I just want to like point out, even though this is like 8 minutes to go or something, I'm being exaggerative. Arthur was standing like super wide, like impossibly wide. Like you could fit a barrel between his legs. I don't know why.
He was just like, that's just his stance. Just like.
That's just how he usually stands.
He's wearing leather pants. He must be like super uncomfortable.
Oh my god, can you swimming in the ocean in leather pants?
That's the thing I don't understand about CW, why they throw on so much damn leather on these dudes who are supposed to be like moving and kicking and running and doing all this stuff in leather. They would get chafed so much. It makes
I've worn leather pants. That's uncomfortable. I can't imagine having to run in leather pants.
Or just any of these action sequences. Not that like it doesn't look bad on his. I just logistically, I don't know how much sense it makes. But to speak on the action itself, the action actually here is really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, looking at it now, it might not be leather, but like regardless.
Well, you know what I'm just noticing? That's this. This is just me personally that I just saw. But the stance that the one fish guard did, holding the sword, that looks like Kinjutsu to me. Like Kinjutsu, Japanese swordsmanship. That's just a little thing I noticed.
Maybe, but I have no knowledge of any of that stuff.
Knowledge of that.
So I'll take your word for it.
Exactly. I agree. Yes.
You know what's funny? That little bit of the score almost kind of reminded me of Shrek for a second there.
Shrek?
A little bit. The da-na-na-na-na-na.
Oh,
Well, the funny thing is that the composer for Shrek is this composer's brother.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That kind of
That's a
makes
really
sense.
weird Easter egg.
Yeah.
It's like, 'cause I remember someone else, I think someone else on Twitter a while back said that like the scene with Arthur and Mira kissing, the score in that reminded them of Shrek. I'm like, well, there might be a reason why. I love this scene. I just love. I know it's CGI as hell, but I think it looks great.
All white everything.
And the gold is just so. It's such a bold statement, just having it look literally entirely in gold.
So funny. I was like, oh, who is the composer? As if I like don't have the internet.
Well, it's actually it's the same composer as Wonder Woman too. The first one, I mean. And honestly, I think his score for this is actually way better than his score for Wonder Woman.
He also did the score for the Bee movie.
Oh. That cinematic masterpiece.
In case we were wondering.
Wait, who was the composer for the Bee movie?
This guy.
The same one for this guy.
Can I ask?
This dude's a me.
Do you like? I unironically liked the movie when I saw it on TV years ago.
No, when I was a kid, I liked it, but yeah, as an adult, it's just like
The Bee movie?
Yeah. Like, is it just a meme because a bee is dating a human? Like,
pretty
is that
much.
the
Yeah,
thing?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's pretty much because it's Seinfeld. That's one of the other reasons. It's Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it just went too far.
I'm sorry for anyone listening who tuned in for Aquaman and you're getting whatever this is.
According to all known laws of aviation, it is impossible for a bee to fly. Its wings are too small and its body is too big.
Okay.
I just realized Orm's hair is not smoothed down in this scene. It's like
It's flowy, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like all of the scenes where their hair is flowy, they basically wear a hairnet and then CGI the flowiness later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He has to let his hair flow when he's wearing a crown.
And can I just say too, the way this entire cast, like I can totally buy Patrick Wilson as the son of Nicole Kidman. I can buy Jason Momoa as the son of Nicole Kidman. Like I can definitely see if like. Because I know sometimes when they cast brothers or siblings or parents biologically, that like there's just no physical resemblance in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. In this movie, I could totally see the casting. I think it's very, very well casted.
Yeah.
See, I always think that too, but then I remember that my sister and I look literally nothing alike. And I'm just like, well, I guess it's realistic sometimes. Because, like, my sister looks like my dad, and I look like my mom. And obviously my parents don't look like each other, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I get that, yeah. I just think sometimes in movies, it's just so out of the realm of...
It's a little too far out, yeah.
I just noticed the extremely obedient jellyfish hanging out as lighting fixtures.
Yep.
Hang on a second.
Here we go. The arguably like one of the what people say is like the worst scene in the movie.
Oh yeah. Okay. Nick, I just want to say I'm really glad you said in the beginning that scenes are cheesy because I always thought that, but I never said it because I never heard anyone else say it. So like, thank you for like
being honest.
Acknowledging that.
Well, they're totally cheesy. I just didn't think they were too distracting. Is the thing. There's one this one kind of is, and okay, maybe there's two. So there's this one, and then there's another one later that I was just like, okay, cool.
Are you just waiting for the scene to come up in order to mention it?
No, I can mention it, but it's the Africa scene.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I know people came out and said, "Oh my god, that scene's like this and that scene that like were terrible." I don't hate them. Like the acting is a little dramatic. Yeah. It's a little dramatic, but I don't think it's terrible. Like for people to say that this guy is a terrible actor, I think that's just kind of mean.
It wasn't great. He wasn't great. Who is this actor?
Oh, you're looking him up so you can criticize him.
This is the shock for me. I was like, oh, this is a little bit, a little bit.
It's again a little too dramatic, but I don't. For me personally, it doesn't take me out of the scene or like I don't think he's a terrible actor or anything. I just. I will say though, as much as I love this movie, there are times where they are a little exposition heavy in the dialogue.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I feel like the structure throws me off a little bit. Like the way that they positioned the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for me sometimes.
I don't know. I don't think the flashbacks are placed terribly. It's just kind of like they kind of fit in terms of like what Arthur was kind of like with Man of Steel, kind of going with like with Clark what he was going through. But I can kind of see what you mean to a degree.
Yeah, it's difficult because like I understand they need to be there and it's interesting to like have them interspersed throughout, but I'm not really smart enough to know. Like,
I'm sorry about my screaming child.
Amira looks good.
It's funny, I remember when they released like the Barbie doll for this, they had it on display at Comic-Con before they officially released it, and it didn't even look like Amber Heard. They literally made it look like Daisy Ridley. I'm not even kidding.
Aren't dolls like that though? Like you just get a face and sometimes it's like that face is not right.
Everyone is so attractive. My god. Just like zooming in on faces. I'm like, fantastic. This is great.
Everybody's just looking at each other like.
I know. Like they're no dialogue for 30 seconds, and then there's this. Like, everyone's just like.
Now here we have a legend.
God, I really, really love Patrick Wilson. Honestly, Phantom of the Opera really did it for me.
Oh yeah, that was my first exposure to him too. It was great.
They should have put Patrick Wilson in a musical again.
He should have been Beast in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh. Interesting.
And then Emmy Rossum could have been Belle because Emma Watson was not good Belle. I'm sorry.
Emma Watson's that casting choice was so lazy.
I didn't hate it before I saw the movie. When I saw the movie, I'm like, ooh, this was a mistake.
It was lazy.
Like, there's two options there. Either pick somebody who can sing, or dub someone else's voice over hers, which hasn't been done since like the golden age of Hollywood. But if you're gonna insist on picking someone just because they're, whatever name, but they can't sing, like, you have to make decisions there,
Yeah.
Actually, no, they have done it. They did it with Zac Efron in the first High School Musical.
Yeah, but they only did it that one time.
Yeah. In the
and he
second
can
and third.
actually sing,
Yeah.
well, in actuality. And, like,
They
no
didn't
offense
trust
to
him
Emma
for the
Watson.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma Watson is a good actress. Like, no shade to her. It's just that, if you can't sing, don't be in, like, a big musical.
Yeah.
Like,
She can't sing, she can talk, and that's literally what her singing voice is.
I know, yeah. It's just her talking voice with, like, a tune.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Okay, sorry, now back to the movie.
Yeah, sorry.
If for the people who haven't tuned out by now.
I just got back. I got back in time when you guys were talking about Emma Watson.
Yeah, we're moving on.
I'm gonna drop it.
I love this. Looks so cool.
It does. It's such like what I expected like an Atlantean fight scene to look like, and it's so like it's cheesy, but it's like kind of like when you watch like a medieval knights movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's like watching like a Knight's Tale or something,
I love the Knights too.
Oh, me too. I love this. That's one of my favorite.
Pros, like,
I love this. The pros and the cons.
Yeah,
Half-breed drunk. It kind of reminds me of like the grievances in Birds of Prey.
Yeah. Remember when people were complaining about this octopus playing the drums? I was like, you need to calm down. Like,
they were complaining about it?
Yeah, people said that it was terrible. Like it's in the comics. Like
actual like essays about how horrible the octopus is.
They were just like, oh, like it's becoming like the MCU because there's this octopus
we're
playing
talking about DC fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was like, chillax. There are giant sharks and like turtles
and rideable seahorses that don't exist.
I know, and you're gonna be
Mira's
mad.
dress is literally jellyfish, and you're mad because an octopus is playing the drums.
Yes.
Honestly, Dash, now that you told me about your fear of jellyfish, I'm surprised that Mira's dress doesn't stress you out.
No, I'm stressed. like, it's fine.
I like how so far no one's mentioned Jason's crop top armor.
hey, let the man wear his crop top with pride.
Yeah.
I love that. The CGI in this fight is it's so fantastic.
Yeah.
The slow motion really works for this.
That's the thing, like, James Wan, for creating an underwater action movie, did such an amazing job. Like, that's why I'll always defend this movie against naysayers, like I do with every DCU movie that I love. But this one specifically, like, it is not an easy task to create an environment like this where you have believable action.
Yeah.
And this movie kicks that notion's ass. Like, it's so well choreographed. It's so well directed. It's just like the CGI flows seamlessly. Like, it's so believable to me, and I love it so much. Like,
yeah, this is really cool.
I will say that's kind of funny because like they do like 2 or 3 like those like circling zoom in shots of Mira looking concerned, like so many times in this fight, and it's just like her making the same worried expression. Just kind of funny. I don't hate it. It's just kind of like they could have chosen a different thing, but. I love this, and you can see how their triumphs were heating up as they were about to meet each other.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, now like every time they're showing Amber, it's just literally
right?
these like cut concern. Thank God she took up the jelly.
She does. She looks hot though. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Everyone does. This movie is just a lot of attractive people. The DCEU in general is just like.
But you know what's funny though? If James Wan didn't make this movie, I have a really good feeling that Zack probably would have cast Patrick Wilson too.
Yeah.
Because Zack, one, loves working with these people over and over again, and two, like, he casts good-looking, talented people.
Yeah.
Except that one dude in Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And now he's being CGI'd out, so.
Good for Zack and good for that actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to take a quick second off, I really do appreciate that he just was like, oh no, he was what's the word I'm trying to say? Oh, he got called out as a sexual assaulter or something. Oh well, I guess he's out of the movie.
Yeah.
He's like, how are you gonna get him out of the movie? CGI.
Yeah.
Like that was like right on the spot.
Yep. And hey, I will say though, it might end up looking terrible, but kudos to Zack for taking the initiative to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it with that movie with Kevin Spacey as well.
Well, didn't they reshoot, like, if they took a week, but they actually reshot scenes with him in the main cast, though? I could be wrong, though.
I don't think they actually reshot the scenes, because that movie is very, it's a lot of close-ups. So I don't think he actually, like, reshot with... Because they were done principal photography, if I'm not mistaken. Because the movie was coming out in, like, a month.
Yeah, like, I remember I think they shot all his stuff in, like, a week. It's, All the Money in the World. It was right in the midst of, like, all the stuff about Kevin Spacey coming out, and they fired him for it, and then Ridley Scott wanted to cast the actor that they used in the end, but he ended up casting Kevin Spacey, and then once Kevin Spacey, all that stuff happened, he's like, you know, I'm going with my first choice, and then he did, and then, I haven't seen the movie, but I know a little bit of the behind the scenes of that. I love this. Oh, I love this part of the score too. I love the synth that they use in this score too. Like, it makes it unique compared to, like, other comic book movies. Like, for not being an 80s movie, I love the use of the synth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they use it a lot of, like, future...
Like futuristic / 80s stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that these, like, ships, like these Manta ships, like, that the wings actually
move
in that way.
It's so much attention to detail and that kind of stuff that I feel like other movies don't always do properly.
Yeah.
Like they make cool designs, but they don't make practical designs. This is cool and practical.
I think this is like just it's along the lines of the same sort of for the Snyder cut for like the armor for Steppenwolf and stuff like that. Like it's just cool.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in this movie just stare at each other.
I really love that shot because, like, or that series of shots, because, like, it gives you a sense of, like, how much history there is between Mira and Orm.
Without
so
saying,
I'm not just like, oh yeah, it's easy for me to betray this guy, like, you know.
Yeah.
Because they knew each other when they were kids and everything, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. They're betrothed and all that fun stuff.
She's like, nah, I'm going with your bro.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, Mira, I would have supported either of your choices.
Honestly, that's why, like, I'm really interested to see, like, what Patrick, like, how his character development's going to be in the sequel. Mm-hmm. Like, I hope, like, that they do end up kind of getting along, but I do worry about the, like, inevitable, like, Loki and Thor comparisons, but we'll see.
Right.
Can't really make. I mean, they're not really. I can't really see them as the same.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if they do the whole like redemption arc for Orm, that people are gonna see that as.
Well, Loki didn't have a redemption arc.
Well, the thing is, it's also it's a completely different storyline.
Yeah,
because,
that's
like,
true.
Thor and Loki grew up together. Like,
Here,
whereas Orm and Arthur were, you know.
They didn't know each other until like
Yeah.
right now. Yeah. And I will also though I do appreciate the line at the end of the movie where he says, "When you're ready, we can talk." As like,
Yeah.
hey, I still want to have a relationship with you. You're still my brother.
Yeah.
Where like Thor does kind of have that with Loki to a degree, but like it's always kind of like one-sided. Whereas like it does seem like the look that Patrick Wilson gives him at the end of the movie does kind of indicate that like okay, like he's at least open to it. Right here, all right, we gotta get ready.
I very much enjoyed the mirror just called the whale and Arthur a big dumb animal.
Oh God, this song.
There it is. Here we go.
They both look so good here though, coming out of the ocean.
It's almost. Yeah.
I remember when I first heard this, I was like, "Oh, okay, very unexpected."
It's a weird
like
cover / new song to you, like because it's not technically a remake of Africa. It's like a Pitbull made a song and then threw Africa in it, but it's
Yeah,
just
I know, right?
that moment is like a weird like WT moment.
I will say though, like I understand like it's a movie and like it's you shouldn't always question movie logic sometimes, but like where did they get those clothes?
I'm assuming that. Well, there was a little bit of a time skip though, right? Like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, from them they landing to like literally being right there in an air hangar to them being in the sky. Yeah.
What I love about, or what I love / hate about things like this is that when people like find clothes randomly and how they like fit so well.
Perfectly, yeah.
And I'm
I know.
Yeah, no, like it bothered me so much in Man of Steel when Clark. I'm like, he's huge, like he's massive, like he just finds these clothes like. You know, in this small town, this one guy happens to be like Superman
Exactly his
size.
size,
Like,
yeah.
come on.
And can I just say though, like
He just happened to hunt upon a house of beefcakes.
Yeah, apparently.
the Arthur and Mira banter in this movie is so great because like it's what I would have expected, but also it's like so I don't know. There's just something about it that I really love and appreciate that like kind of warms my heart watching the movie. You know, like I don't know.
I don't know how they managed to make Ludi Lin look so unattractive in this movie.
I was really hoping that they were casting him as Garth. I'm like, oh wow, they're race bending Aqualad, and then I'm like, oh, they're doing this. Okay, whatever. See, that's the thing. That's the thing I like about Mira's dad here is that, like, yeah, like he's siding with Orm and what he's trying to do, but he's like, hey, you harm my daughter. This shit done. I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
I feel like though Patrick Wilson really should have seen Volko turning on him so much sooner than he did, because Willem Dafoe's character does not. He's not that great of a liar. Like, I don't know.
I love this.
Of the diving into the sand.
Yeah.
Wait, did she just break his door open?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Jesus.
I just love how he just doesn't doubt her and he just does it anyway. I love that kind of attitude about this Arthur. I don't care if people say that it's too much Jason. I think it works.
I mean, I mean, isn't Aquaman like in the comics kind of like that though?
It depends on the version, really, because a lot of them are kind of like he's a little more like I'm trying to think of. He's a lot more of a straightforward, like not straight man, but like he doesn't always have the most amount of depth as a character. Like he's very like straight edgy, kind of like I am the king of Atlantis kind of thing. But I guess it really depends on the interpretation, because like it changed. Like the New 52 stuff, he's very different. But if you watch like the animated stuff, he's very much like I am the king of Atlantis.
Yeah. That's when he had the long hair and the hook arm.
Yeah. I love the water graphic, or the holographic water imaging that they use for these scenes.
Yeah.
Also, this too, that like the armor is
actually
like,
Atlantean,
like in water.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the padding of this like case.
I know some people say that like Black Manta is ultimately useless in this movie, or they should not useless, but as far as like they should have saved him for the sequel. I think, especially if like they didn't know for sure that this movie was gonna do well enough. I don't mind him being in this movie because it adds while it's not essential to the main plot necessarily, it does add something to the movie that I think it benefits from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was this other weird song.
It's a little bit different.
Oh, that looks gross.
No, he just has to make everything goth, you know?
Yeah, this is a weird choice.
Yeah, it's not a phase. It's not a phase, Mom. It's revenge.
Well, no, that's funny. No, what I was gonna say though, but it is kind of weird going from these movies to, like, obviously you want to have like the directors be the ones that choose the vision or whatever, but it is kind of weird going from like Man of Steel, BVS, and stuff like that, where like they don't necessarily use contemporary songs in scenes to kind of go into this, where like there's kind of not a lot of it, but there's definitely that element there where it's like, okay, this is, it's not something that I'm used to in this universe.
I feel like it's not so much that they're using music in it. It's just like weird choices.
Yeah, like
there could have just been better choices for it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single terrible song choice, but it's just like I do kind of wonder, like, okay, well, who made that decision? Was it James' decision, or was it like the producers being like, all right, we need some songs for the soundtrack?
Yeah, because I mean, technically, Man of Steel has like a song in it too.
Yeah, and the one scene where he steals the clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, but it just like it works. Like again, it works because it just made like a, it felt like a natural song choice there. But these ones are very like, what just happened?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that like they cross the, like, depending on the person, like they kind of cross the line of being of taking you out of the movie for a second, being like, okay, what's this doing here?
I think all of the song choices, like all of the like non-orchestral song choices in the movie, like take me out of it, to be honest. Like the one that does that the least is the one just now with
Black Manta.
Yeah. But all of them, like even the one like with the when the dolphin stuff was happening, the like, is it like She's a Mystery Girl or something like that?
I don't know. That one actually I think is my favorite of the bunch.
Oh, that one like really takes me out of it. Like
really,
just, like, the whole scene is just too much cheese for me.
I don't know. I think that one. I think that's the one scene in the movie where I feel like a song like that fits the most, because it's like it does kind of feel like one of the few scenes in the movie where like the movie gives you a second to get to know a little bit more about these characters without having a ton of dialogue.
Like, no one wants to hear this, and like I don't even want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. Like, Jason looks kind of similar to my uncle, which is like traumatizing a little bit.
Oh no.
and like I have to remind myself like he's a completely different ethnicity. Like,
Oh no, that must not be great for you.
yeah, it's not. It's not.
Well, it's funny. I feel that very same way about like Brie Larson. She looks so much like my aunt to me. My aunt, who's only like 5 years older than me, who was actually about Brie Larson's age. So like, watching Captain Marvel, I feel like I'm like almost hating on my aunt, even though I'm not.
Has she seen it? Does she think there's a resemblance?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really talk about superhero stuff with my aunt because I'm sure she cares less about that kind of stuff.
Bone structure between these two.
The bone structure.
Yeah.
I will say though, the one joke in here that doesn't land for me is this upcoming pee joke.
Oh, the pink one? Yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks it's a little bit like overhyped when she pulls like tiny droplets of water from people? Like it's always like portrayed as this dope thing, but I'm just like, it wasn't that much water, guys. Like,
Yeah.
Hey Rebecca, I don't mean this to sound mean in any way whatsoever, but it does sound like you're the type of person where it takes a lot to impress you.
not really. 'Cause, like, I watch movies that have like 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I like them, so I don't.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like.
No, but I agree with you, Rebecca. Like, they made it such a point, especially in this one. And look at how much water that is. Like,
Yeah. Like, even when she was saving his dad, like, don't get me wrong, that's awesome that she saved his dad, but, like, you know, it was just like, okay, like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a curmudgeon, but I'm just saying.
no, that's fair.
God, no,
Humans-
Rebecca, no. We know we got some haters here. You guys can go now.
That's where we draw the line. God.
You know, it's funny. So here in San Diego, obviously we have SeaWorld, and one of the rides is called Journey to Atlantis, and so much of this scene reminds me of that ride. Like the way it's the set design is here very much so reminds me of that.
Yeah, they have a similar thing in Universal, or no, they don't have it anymore. I can't remember. In Orlando. Yeah.
No, they don't have it.
Yeah, because I know they built into it because of Harry Potter, but I wasn't sure how much. I never remember what's in Universal Orlando because I ride the same rides every time I go there.
I've only ever been to Universal here in California, and Amy and I went on our honeymoon, and she was like feeling so terribly. She was in a ton of pain, and she was really sick. So we were there, our first times there, and we were there for all of maybe like 3 hours, and then we had to leave because she wasn't feeling well. So we ended up going back to the hotel. So we did like Simpsons stuff. We did the Harry Potter thing, which honestly kind of made me sick. The broom riding thing where you follow like the characters throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
But hey, I got a Homer Simpson donut, and that was pretty good. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
And it was edible?
Okay, it was good. It oddly enough, the donut lasted me like 3 days. It was so big, and it stayed fresh.
Wait. When you say a Homer Simpson donut, you mean a donut with pink frosting?
Yeah. Like the one that looks like the one from the show.
Why did it last 3 days?
I don't know, but it was still it was still fresh.
You didn't eat it?
No, I did eat it. As one was like,
It's just large.
it was a very Rebecca. It was not a normal sized donut. It was huge.
How big was it? A dinner plate?
Oh yeah, at least.
Why does that
Okay.
interest in the donut size?
Okay. Anyways, here I like this scene. I don't care what you say, Rebecca.
The flowers.
Well, okay. That's your
Listen,
opinion.
give me the version of this scene where Helena is still in Sicily and is like, what the hell just happened? Just in the background.
Like, I like her, don't get me wrong, I like her eating the rose and everything.
It's just a song choice.
But, it's the saccharinity of it. You know?
I don't see what you mean. Just because for me, it's like, I think this moment adds a much needed break in the movie that doesn't have exposition to dialogue. Doesn't have, not saying that exposition dialogue is bad, but this movie has a lot of it. But just that it gives the moment like a second to breathe, and it's a tender moment between Arthur and Mira, and then her and the kid, and like, you can call it whatever you want, Rebecca. I'm just saying, I appreciate the moment for what it is.
Yeah,
This
okay.
water stuff's cooler.
It's valid, but like, also, this is a secret too. Like, I mean, I know she's not like thinking that everyone is gonna see what she does, but like, still,
Yeah.
I'm just like, in front of everybody though.
Hard eyes.
You know? I mean, it's valid. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate that this scene brings levity and everything. You know.
I love this. I think this is really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when the shot of like Mira like looking after Arthur and like the wind like blowing her hair.
Yeah,
I love that. Like, the hair doesn't look good, and then I was like, the hair looks good. And
See, that's the thing. It's a constant battle between, like, in one scene it looks good, and in the other scene it pops out.
Me. Now, okay. I'm blanking on the name right now.
Jaimon Hansu?
Yeah, he's in everything.
Yep. He's in Marvel. He's in DC. He's in DC twice. No, he's in DC 3 times. He's in the Constantine movie, he's in this, and he's in Shazam. And potentially in Black Adam.
He's basically everywhere.
And the MCU, like, he gets around, like, everywhere.
Yeah. It was funny when they because they initially had the guy from This Is Us in Shazam as the Wizard, and then they recast, which honestly kind of disappointed me. But it is funny because he did this, Shazam, and Captain Marvel all within the course of like a few months. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait, why did they recast though? I forgot why.
I think the actor was no longer available or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But I was really bummed out because I really like that guy in This Is Us.
Yeah.
This is scary. Dude literally just murdered her dad.
This is a really intense scene.
I gotta say, like, I love, like, the Mermaid Kingdom, these people. I think they look really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's funny. So when I saw this movie, it was, like, right after Amy and I had just finished binging all of the Golden Girls. You guys ever seen that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
So as soon as they said Sicily, I'm like, oh, Lord. Picture it. Sicily.
Okay, so, like, I'm a museum studies major, and, like, when they started, like, destroying the relics, like, in every movie or, like, show where they just, like, break old stuff, I'm like, stop!
Yeah.
Stop! You know?
Yeah,
like,
it's so awful.
Yeah, it hurts. Especially because so much of it has been destroyed already in, like, wars and stuff. It's like, you're not making this better.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Al, where are we on the random explosion count?
We are on 2.
No, I thought we were on 3. Are we coming up on 3 or which one?
We're coming
up on 3.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
You know, I didn't notice any of the, like, how many sudden explosions.
I didn't realize until Al pointed it out either. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed every time when I first watched the movie. Why is there so many explosions?
Yeah, it's...
Okay, yeah, I gotta agree. These scenes of them suddenly to get. Oh my god. Oh.
I still think you're a little bit ahead of me, but yeah.
Yeah, I am. They just.
Yeah, now it happens. Yeah. He looks so good as in the suit. It's just. I will say though, in the first time I saw this in theaters, I couldn't understand what he was saying at all.
I couldn't either. I'm not gonna lie.
What's he quoting?
I don't even know.
Something about
Cities and men, or I don't know.
I remember I watched this for the third time, the second time. I think it was the second time watching it. At my school, they had like a free showing of it, and when Manta like slashed Arthur's back, everyone was like, "Ooh!" Like it's surprisingly gruesome for like a PG-13 movie, you know?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like sometimes these movies do kind of like push the line of like what is like okay in a movie and what's kind of like okay. Do we need to show this? As far as like being a little too gruesome or but
Yeah. Can I still say that, like, Black Manta's, like, whole suit, it is, like, such a... Like, it's one of those suits that you wouldn't expect to work, but it works so well.
I know, that's exactly how I feel. It looks... Yeah. I'm just... Yeah, and that's the thing, too. Like, it easily could have been a terrible-looking suit. And it just works. Like... And that's the thing, like, when they teased, like, the original helmet earlier in the movie, when in that montage of him making the suit, like, that helmet wouldn't have worked. I think that would have been too much.
Yeah.
But the way they do it here, I think, really works. But one thing it always kind of reminds me of is, have any of you guys ever... I know I'm already a nerd, but have any of you guys ever played Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the card, the Elemental Hero Bubble Man.
I mean, I don't remember that, but, like...
Okay, well, anyways, he basically is, like... Black Manta looks like Bubble Man, except in Bubble Man in the comics... Or not in the comics, but in the card/show, he is, like... He has, like, a Batman kind of cowl, but it looks all, like, very bulbousy, like, jet sort of things like this, so... It's I do kind of think it's funny how, like, the entire movie with him, Jason's like, "You're not going to be my nemesis, just stop."
Yeah.
I like this theme.
Yeah, it's great.
Your lady friend.
Your friend who is a lady.
At least he didn't say female.
I love this. I think this is... Reminds me of, like, it's the whole, like, Levi's commercial thing.
Levi's commercial?
Yeah, in the, was it in the 90s? Yeah, in the 90s, I think. There was this whole thing.
Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about. The action commercials.
Yeah.
It's like, these Levi jeans allows her to move so fast.
Yeah, and then, like, they'd be running through walls like this.
I feel like I remember that commercial if I saw it, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure it's on YouTube. If you just YouTube, like, Levi's commercials 90s, it's probably one of the first ones.
Yeah. I like this shot, this whole one...
The one shot?
Yeah. That's what I thought when you guys started talking about Levi's. I was like, they did a one-shot commercial like this? With rooftops and everything?
I also just love how much better Mira's doing.
I know.
I mean, she's got like 4 guys after her, and Arthur has 1 dude, and he's like struggling.
I know.
I love this when he
yeah, then he just like body checks it.
Can you imagine if he killed
someone? I know. I was just thinking.
Oh, you know how much? What? How do we not know there wasn't someone behind the door? Like.
Honestly, I love this dude who's just been running through walls this whole time.
I know.
He's doing his job, you know?
They did this very similar scene in X-Men 2 with the Juggernaut, right?
Yeah.
I love that family and everything that they were, because normally in movies when someone does something like that, like lifts them out, they'll be like, thank you. This family was just like, bye. Like,
yeah.
I feel like realistic. Like...
So why does this?
Same spot.
Well, I was gonna say, why does he think the knife is gonna work? But I guess if he is already impaled, then
Yeah.
It's for the daddy.
I love this, like how Mira doesn't have to necessarily like kick their asses. She just has to be smart about it.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Just be resourceful.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a little like
Yeah. Yeah.
a little much, but it's whatever. Also, the toilet bowl isn't that
the
big.
Worst one.
Yeah.
See, this is cooler. This is better than her one little droplet of water. But this is still so dramatic.
Yeah, I still felt it was overhyped though.
It is. I feel like I'm watching Avatar.
Rebecca, I just don't know how to please you with these movies. I just.
No, but this one's cooler. Like, this one's way cooler. Like,
Like, I thought she was gonna, like, do something, like, really huge, but it was just, like, 8, like, blood knives. Okay, deadass, he should have died here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
It's around his neck. Like, come on.
They busted him in the head. Like.
Well, no, I guess he did. He did destroy the one, so I guess I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's like a suit of armor, so I guess. Oh, I get. Well, technically, he would
Yeah.
die.
And then he was cracked open. He fell onto like a cliff. Like,
Yeah.
He's fine.
I kind of say though, nothing against the actor, but the dude who plays the doctor who ends up like saving him in the end, he's too. He's too. No, he's too cheesy, and just because he was just in Ant-Man and the Wasp, like right before this, like I feel like he was kind of unnecessary.
Okay, but when Orm gave her that bracelet, he didn't know she was gonna betray him.
I
Was
think
it just like
he was just keeping,
Tabs on her, yeah.
keeping tabs on her. Yeah.
This is probably
He
one of
didn't
my.
trust her in the hole.
This scene is probably one of my favorite between Arthur and Mira. But I do kind of love how they use like seaweed as kind of like a band-aid for them.
It's the natural healing properties. See?
she okay?
No, she's just singing.
Okay.
Sorry, she's watching Zootopia on our iPad, and it got to the part where Gazelle's singing.
You don't even got to apologize.
I do think it's funny though. Like again, a movie logic, but like, how does she know how to play a flute?
How does she not know? Why are we
She's
questioning
classically
that versus...
trained.
Yeah, like, why are we
Classically
questioning
trained.
that versus, like, anything
She's
else?
a princess. Don't they have to like learn all these
Yeah.
Underwater?
things?
But wait, why would she not? Also, why would she not know? Why would she eat the flower? Which do they not have flowers underwater?
They have other kinds of flowers.
So that
Oh.
stuff is
Oh,
okay,
right.
but her
I mean, roses
hydrokinesis
are
is a
edible.
problem. Okay.
Roses are edible?
Yeah, you can make tea out of them and stuff.
Huh.
I mean, it's not like a normal thing to eat, but, like...
Yeah, you can
Oh,
consume
okay.
them if you want to.
Okay, can I just say that because I know that the trench stuff is coming up? Like, whoever's idea it was to even like suggest a trench movie, why?
James Wan.
No, it's like what are you gonna do with a trench movie? Like, really? I don't get it. Like, it's not like it was a cool sequence, and I'm glad they were there, but like I don't need a movie about them. Like, why? It's
Please don't get me started on series that we don't need, because I know I'm gonna go into another rant again.
okay.
But I'm gonna save y'all the trouble.
Yeah, that was... Yeah. No, that's, like, totally warranted, though.
This is probably my favorite bit of the score here too. with this scene. I feel like we don't talk enough about, like, Jason's acting in this movie because, like, well, yes, you do see a lot of Jason being kind of, like, Jason-esque, but, like, he does have some real vulnerability that he shows here in this movie, especially in this scene, like, that he's not just this big brute, and, like, obviously that's kind of the point of the movie, but at the same time, it's just, like, moments like this make me appreciate Jason as an actor and Arthur's character more, because, like, there's a lot more to him than I think that people give him credit for both the character and the actor.
Yeah.
See, this scene, you know that he's gonna get outed. He's just looking at him like...
It's just painted, yeah, it's not... And that's the thing, is that, like, in this movie, James Wan doesn't necessarily make anything subtle. Not that it's bad, it's just, like, this movie's very, like... It doesn't... This movie's very straightforward, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is just a random comment, and I don't know what your guys' opinion is on this. So, obviously there's, like, a certain way that body parts kind of, like, interact in the water that they don't really take into account. Like, they did, like, with the hair and, for example, like, the capes and stuff, like, the way they're flowing with the water. It's like, do you think they were just like, it's fine, like, no one's gonna notice that? Or, like, they're like, oh, they're Atlanteans, so they would move differently in water?
Which body parts do you mean?
Just, like, any body part. Because, like, when you're swimming, or if you're, like, underwater like this, you have to constantly be moving to stay downwards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But that's, like, as a human.
Yeah.
I figured it was always because Atlanteans had a different sort of gravitational...
Yeah.
Because they've been used to this their entire lives, that they've kind of controlled it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, how is Orm standing right there? But, like,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And again, like, with this movie, like...
That's what I was saying. I'm like, this is just such a random comment. Like, I was like,
It's okay, Dash. This commentary has been filled with a ton of random comments.
I just think about, because I think about the movie Ender's Game, and when they filmed Ender's Game, one of the biggest things they had to do was CGI everyone's body parts, because when they had the harnesses to make them look like they were in space, like, their bodies don't interact in the same way as there would be with no gravity. So they literally, like, filmed everything, but then would just keep their heads and then CGI their entire bodies.
That's weird.
Basically. That's like, it's such a nitpick. No one's gonna care. I just thought right now, like whatever.
And that's okay. So this trench scene, I know everyone has said this, but, like, it really is, like, the scariest part of the movie, and I think where some of James's best directing moments come in this movie. And, like, the way he directs them, like, jumping in the water, the way he directs them, like, and the way they interact, like, the way that they're lit, and the way that they're interacting with the lightning, and the lighting on the boat, and how, like, it's just... I just think this scene is directed really, really well, and I think this is... Stuff like this, and obviously everyone thinks so because James Wan is typically a horror director, but this is where his best work comes in play, as far as, like, visually telling the story.
Yeah, and, like, there's a lot of iconic, like, shots as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I'm saying, like, he does a lot of great work in this movie. I just think, like, stuff like this is, I think, where a lot of his best, where his talents really come into play.
Yeah, when I was watching this in the theater, like, when this scene started, I was like, okay, here we go. Because, you know, I know him from Conjuring and Insidious and stuff, so I was like, okay, it's happening.
Yeah.
All the Insidious movies are going on Netflix in Canada in October. Very exciting.
I've seen everything but the last one, so I've seen the first three.
I've only seen the first two.
The third one it's kind of like its own thing, kind of.
Yeah, it's like a prequel, right?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Wait, are we talking about the Conjuring universe?
No, we're talking about Insidious.
No, like Insidious.
It's not connected to Conjuring.
Oh, yeah, Insidious.
Oh my god, the shot is...
I love this,
Yeah, it's really
this shot is
it's terrifying.
That is
It's very
glorious. Yeah, no, totally.
It's very terrifying, also.
It's amazing.
Like, because I'm such, like, a because I'm so into like aesthetics,
Mm-hmm.
like this part of the movie is very like prominent for me.
So has
And
it?
also the way like the creatures are, like the way they swim is
Yep.
like they swarm
Yep.
very specifically, and like that's like a thing that like when insects swarm, like they do that like circular motion. That was really really cool. I know they're not insects, but like
Mm-hmm. Well, what
this looks so cool.
it does, yeah. And what I was gonna say, so coming up here in a second, so have any of you guys seen the movie with Brendan Fraser, Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yeah.
No.
So,
Okay.
one, you guys are missing out because I think it's a really fun movie. And two, like this scene very much so coming up very reminds me a lot of that movie with the Atlanta and where she is and everything. But
Oh yeah, no, totally.
I mean, it's the same sort of thing. Like they basically are at the center of the earth, you know.
Yeah. I didn't know where you were going with that, and then I was like, oh, that makes sense.
And honestly, though, it was such a nice surprise to see that she was still alive, though.
Yeah,
Because I wasn't expecting it. I thought they're like, all right, they're killing off another DCEU mom. Okay.
it kind of reminded me of How to Train Your Dragon too.
Oh yeah.
I still have yet to see those movies, and I know I need
What?
to.
Oh, you
I
must
know.
see it.
I haven't seen them either.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 was so well done.
Everyone says it's like one of the best animated movies ever.
Yeah. And the fact that it lost to whatever Disney came out with that year really pissed me off. It was Big Hero 6.
I mean, I saw Big Hero 6. Like, no offense, but it wasn't as good as How to
Big
Train
Hero-
Your Dragon 2.
Big Hero 6 was good. It just...
Yeah, no, I love Big Hero 6. I
Yeah.
love Disney animated films, but like, come on, people. I'm aware that I have basic Disney taste, so it's okay. No, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is incredible.
This is like some of the most beautiful environments.
It really
in the
is.
movie.
It's very...
So this is like a part of like an untouched part of the world or something.
It was so basically, my guess. That's why I was saying I think it's kind of the center of the earth, but it's still kind of ambiguous as to where it's exactly. I don't know. But the funny thing though is that like they make this reveal like so to make something so shocking and surprising. But like the moment you see her take the thing off, you're like, okay, you know it's Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like it's still a surprise to see her, but like it's not like they hide it very well, you know.
Yeah. So does she
Well, I
have
was
dreads?
No.
No, they're
Her hair's just really.
Her hair's
Yeah,
just
it's
knotted
really
together
bad.
like terribly.
Okay.
Don't worry, I checked too.
Yeah, I know. No, her hair is in braids for sure. There's a couple braids.
She
in
must
the
be
front.
tired of wearing that suit though.
Yeah. No, her hair's just really, really wet.
So she's been only missing for the last how many years? Because obviously she had to be there for Orm to be born and stuff, and that was as Arthur was older. But how long did they say how long she was actually gone in here from?
I don't think they give a number.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like in an interview or something.
Yeah. See, that looks so. I get. You know what? I get a mixture of Avatar and the James Cameron's Avatar and
Yeah.
Journey to the Center of the Earth vibes from that.
Definitely Journey to the Center for sure.
Yeah. Earlier, like in like regular Atlantis areas, like with the bioluminescence, definitely reminds me of Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in that show Entourage, James Cameron in that show directed the Aquaman movie.
Oh my god.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never watched the show, but my parents did, so I was aware of that.
So what is it, like some sort of alternate Hollywood universe?
Yeah,
or
so
something?
so like James Cameron directed Aquaman and it made over $1 billion and stuff like that, which is kind of funny because James went on to make Aquaman and did cross $1 billion, but it wasn't Cameron. And then one of the leads of the show, he's an actor in the show, and he played the actor who went on to play Aquaman in that, and yeah, it was, yeah. but because it had like the main cast who didn't play themselves, they played like other characters who worked in Hollywood, but other people who actually were in Hollywood play themselves, so people thought that the show was real.
That's funny.
It's so like I remember at one point in the show, I guess they were talking about doing Aquaman 2 and that Kevin Smith was going to write it. So people went up to Kevin Smith being like, "Hey, dude, heard you're writing Aquaman 2. Can't wait." And he's like, "Do you remember seeing Aquaman 1?" And this was way well before this movie. But yeah.
Again, Mara's just like staring a lot.
She just reacts to a lot of the movie.
Yeah. This is Journey of the Center. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, can I just say though, it is hilarious that Julie Andrews did not come back for Mary Poppins Returns, but she does this, and they came out like the same day or around the same time.
Wait, Julie Andrews.
She's the one who played the original Mary Poppins.
No, I know.
When you say she does this, who is she?
She's the voice of the Carathan.
Oh,
gotcha.
I literally was.
So I was like, what do you mean she does this? I haven't seen her.
Me neither. I was like, am I really not paying attention? It's goddamn Julie Andrews. Like,
yeah, like, and there aren't women in this movie besides like the two mermaid ladies, and then Mira and Atlanta. So like, I'm like, where are these women? Like, where's Julie Andrews?
I can't believe I didn't know that.
But yeah, she's the Carathan.
That makes so much sense.
But yeah, don't you see my point though of like how it's funny she didn't come back for Mary Poppins, but she does this.
Yeah. I feel like with Julie Andrews though, like she knows her impact to.
No, yeah, of course.
So she I feel like she just was like, it's fine.
I'll be honest, I was surprised when you said that because I was like, she's still alive.
Oh.
I love Julie Andrews.
Me too.
Is she like? How old is she?
She's
She must
old.
be like in her 70s, right?
If not,
Probably
80s.
young.
Let me see. Let me Google it.
I didn't. Because like Doris Day just died like
No,
last.
no, she's 84. 84.
But she still looks good.
84. But she just doesn't look 84.
Yeah, she looks good.
That's nice. What is that thing around his neck?
I don't. They never say, but I think it's some like cultural kind of thing, like
Like a Hawaiian thing?
I don't know. I think Jason mentioned it, but I can't remember what it was that he said it was.
Mm.
But he doesn't wear it.
It's kind of throughout the entire movie, basically.
Yeah.
I honestly, when you said like, "Oh, it's the voice of the thing," I was like, "I'll be honest, I didn't know what that was called." But you know.
But that's why I think it's the ironic thing that people were like, "Oh, Aquaman's gonna get trumped by Mary Poppins Returns," and Mary Poppins Returns like only made like a few $100 million while this crossed $1 billion.
Did you see it?
I didn't know. I haven't.
I haven't either.
I've seen it. It's what you think it is. Like when you watch the trailer, you're not really surprised.
Wait, what does that mean? Because I haven't really seen it.
Well, I mean, I think it looked fun, but it didn't look anything beyond just like a fun movie.
Yeah, it's literally just like a Mary Poppins sequel.
Well, that's what you expect, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like that's no, I know, but that's what I mean. Like, you're not like, oh, like Emily Blunt was great, so.
I mean, we already talked about this, but I really liked her in Into the Woods.
I love Emily Blunt.
Me too. She should have been Captain Marvel, not Brie. I'm sorry. But at the same time, like, given what Captain Marvel...
I'm blanking. Who's Emily Blunt again?
Dude.
John, his wife.
Okay, have you seen Into the Woods?
Yes.
No.
Wife.
Or here, Edge of Tomorrow, Sicario.
You just say the baker's wife. He knows what that is.
I Baker's wife.
Yeah.
Into the Woods, yeah.
Wait, no, you're gonna have to give me a little more than that.
Devil Wears Prada.
Baker and his wife.
I don't even know.
Dude, how do you not know who Emily Blunt is?
Like, what else was she in?
She's in so much.
Dude, how do you not...
I'm blanking right now.
John Krasinski's wife.
Have you seen A Quiet Place?
Dude.
The Quiet Place.
Dude. Al, you just lost a ton of points with me.
I was blanking for a second. I was like, who? I'm thinking of like two different. I'm thinking of that woman from Glass.
Sarah Paulson?
Yeah, that's how I was like, what?
You couldn't be any farther away from Emily Blunt.
Al started this thinking Nicole Kidman was Catwoman, so really, like...
Wait, whoa, what?
You missed that, Nick?
Yes?
Is that?
Wow.
Well,
I think, I might have been changing Emily at the time, because I missed out on it.
I made a blunder and accidentally mistaked Nicole Kidman for Michelle Pfeiffer.
Dude.
I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, I can see.
Okay. I will say though, you were in the ballpark. Is that because she was in the following movie in that series?
That's what I was
So
giving
you're
her.
okay. I give you so I forgive you some.
She was in a Batman
But-
movie.
Yeah,
Man.
she was.
I mean, I've probably seen it, but I don't.
No, it was. She was in Batman Forever. She played Chase Meridian, I think.
And Chase Meridian was who?
The love interest for Bruce Wayne in that movie.
Okay, so one of those women that we don't remember because they didn't really do
Yes.
anything.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Basically.
Okay,
Chase Meridian is such a
I know,
comic
right?
name.
Dr. Chase Meridian.
Okay, I love
So
this.
Arthur has the trident.
Okay, did
Yeah.
he take the suit off the dead body though?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this was like cheesy, to be honest. Like, I mean, a lot of things. Are cheesy.
Oh my God, Rebecca! Just say you hate the movie.
I agree. It looks like something Robert Rodriguez would film.
What?
It kind of looks like it kind of reminded me of like in the original X-Men films, like the opening credits of
Yeah.
the original X-Men
It looks
films.
like oh my god, it looks like X-Men credits.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. When they show like
I do like
the
this.
mutant gene and like this shot is epic though.
Yeah, it
we
is.
gotta love their superhero shots, like all of them.
Yeah.
That suit looks so good.
Yeah.
Well done.
It for being like one of the cheesiest looking comic book suits in comics, it looks fantastic.
I think one of the biggest things that made these suits work in this film is giving them so much texture.
Yeah.
Like that it looks more like armor than it does like
A suit, yeah.
I know it does look like that in the comics, but depending on the artist,
Yeah.
it does kind of look more like a second skin. Whereas in the film, like you can really see like the armor texture to it.
Also, can I just say I love that, like how Patrick Wilson can pull off the purple armor on Orm.
Yeah.
Patrick Wilson can pull off anything.
And also, I know this is a thing with more modern comic book movies, but I love having like armor or like a cowl or a mask that have expressive eyes in a way that it's not like that it's not too much. Because I think MCU Spider-Man does it too much, but I think Deadpool and this do it just enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really had a problem with the MCU Spider-Man's eyes per se. It's more the rest of the suit.
Yeah, that's fair. So another little fact. So since we're still kind of on Julie Andrews and her stuff, in Princess Diaries 2, the uncle of Chris Pine's character is the Brine King.
Nice.
Oh my God. Okay, okay.
The Brian
It's going
King?
through my mind right now.
Brine,
Because
the king of the
never
crab people.
realized that Mary Poppins is the same Julie Andrews who's... Oh my God.
What?
Whoa. Oh, hold up. Hold up.
I know who the grandma from Princess Diaries is, but I never
didn't know they were the same
connected
person?
that they were the same person.
Did you just think they had the same name and looked the same?
I don't think about these things, okay?
Only one Julie Andrews, and it's Julie
The Andrews.
I don't worship Julie Andrews either. Like, she's great and all, but I don't sit around all day watching her movies and making connections. So, like...
So you don't think Julie Andrews was also Julie Andrews?
I don't think about it. I don't think about it.
Speaking of her, actually, you know what? I love that it's not even just in this movie, but like that there's these like big time actors that will be just like voice roles.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. Like this guy here, he was one of Indiana Jones's friends in the Indiana Jones movies. I can't remember his name. He's the dude who does like the Indiana Jones ride. that introduces the ride. Hello, my friends! That dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
There's
The Kraken is so OP.
No, Karathan, not the Kraken.
Well, okay.
it's a Kraken. It's like
Can I say I love the scale? Like they just make it so ridiculously huge, and like they literally mix it with like every like type of fish you can think of.
yeah.
Like you
Has,
got
like,
squid, you got crab, you
monsters.
got shark, you got
That would be like the ultimate monster of the sea. Would definitely be a mix of multiple.
Yep.
It looks like a kaiju.
It
Yeah,
like
oh my God,
like
it looks
literally
like a kaiju
is.
from Pacific Rim.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it does.
It's the face.
Yep. I just love the in the score. His theme in this is so great. Like I'm sure whatever Junkie is gonna do is gonna be great, but I love this theme in the scene.
I should watch Pacific Rim.
I own it and I haven't even
You
watched
guys
it
stick
yet.
for that movie because I do.
Wait, what movie?
Pacific Rim.
100%.
Rim.
100%.
Oh, yeah. I still gotta see that movie.
Okay,
Oh my God.
one of the days this week, after like at some point in the day or something when we're all free, we're not gonna do a commentary. We all just need to sit down and watch it.
Are you kidding me?
Listen, I freaking love
Yes,
that movie.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I never watched it. I guess it was because I was never really into big monster, big
Oh my
robot things until I watched Godzilla, and now suddenly I'm like, I gotta watch more monster stuff.
I haven't seen. I literally own the Blu-ray and I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my god.
What the hell, bro? Why buy a movie if you don't even know you're gonna like the product?
Well, because everyone told me it's fantastic, so I'm sure that I'm gonna like it. It's just getting around to actually watching it.
Pacific Rim is incredible. Oh my god. The concept, anyway, you know what? It's fine.
But can I just say though how like literally Arthur commands the sharks to just eat the Atlanteans? I love this, and I love
this as the throwback to the beginning.
yeah. I remember because I bought this song from the soundtrack and I blasted it so many times because we actually when Emily was born, we were in the hospital for a few days, and then my wife had some medical complications, so we actually ended up back in the hospital for another week. And whenever I'd like go downstairs to get food or whatever for us, I would blast this on my way down, and it's just a really good soundtrack. The score is fantastic.
Wow.
Man, I can't wait for you guys to watch Pacific Rim. I'm just thinking about, I'm like, to be able to watch that movie for the first time again, oh my god. Like,
Aw, here comes Mira and Shamu.
And now this incredibly long kiss.
okay,
You know what, Rebecca, be quiet. This is fantastic. Shush.
Oh, I love this. I love this kiss.
I'm sorry, but like this is my personality apparently, you know?
I am such a sucker for dramatic kisses.
Me
So
too.
this is like fantastic.
I like that it's
Rebecca,
dramatic, but, like, it
Rebecca,
goes on too
be-
long.
Oh yeah. no,
Rebecca, shh. Just enjoy it.
They do a full 360 on that. And then some. Like,
It reminds me of those like dramatic. It reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah. Oh my god, I love that kiss. The wedding one? Come on. Like,
Like that big dummy. I love this. There's a shot in here coming up of him riding the seahorse that I really wish I could just get framed and painted. It's like I think it's this one right here.
Yeah, I see it.
yeah.
It's so great, and then of course the final shot of the movie too.
Oh yeah, that final shot is gorgeous.
Even though like I've mentioned how I feel about Wonder Woman, like that Wonder Woman's final shot and this final shot go so well together of just like the pose, like the dynamic pose. Is just I think it'd be cool if every DC movie did that from now on, just ended with a dynamic pose. Like that's the one thing.
Every movie
Wasn't there like a tweet like that was like, oh, the superheroes like dynamic pose, and then someone did like BBS's, and it's just like,
The Trinity, yeah.
I'm assuming Clark will get his like epic pose in Justice League.
Jeez, I don't know if he can. Well, maybe.
What?
Depending.
Oh,
he's
he
just
will. Yeah.
flying around, I guess. But otherwise, he's just gonna be sitting at home, like, wow, life, you know. I certainly would just stay at home if I was him.
Who?
Clark.
Oh,
Yeah.
after coming
So
back from
there's
the
like
dead?
6 other people to like worry about shit, like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, like after he comes back to life, he just takes a break and is like, okay, I'm gonna chill for a bit.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll be right back. All right. Give me a second.
Oh, you missed the best parts here.
No, seriously. Oh, I love that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that shot is so good. I know it's like the superhero landing, but it just looks so good.
It looks sick.
Yeah.
The cape.
Yeah.
And because Zack Snyder invented slow motion, so
Yeah.
they would, if you watch the honest trailer of this, they probably call it Snyder Vision or something.
No. It's funny too because I remember when Man of Steel was still in production and everything, Zack was like, I'm not going to use any of my like classic slow motion, and I was like, what? Why? But then I realized it was because he really wanted to show like how powerful the Kryptonians were, so it like worked. But like I was expecting like there to be some really epic slow motion shots.
It's funny because he went in the opposite direction. He made everything super duper fast.
Yeah, I know, right? It was fantastic. It makes sense though, because again, like he's one of the first people to really show the power. Like if Zod and Superman were in a fight,
But the destruction, the property damage. Oh my god! I think the nice thing about this movie, people can't complain about property damage unless they're really mad about the ruins getting blown up.
Oh.
Again, there could have been someone behind that church door. Yeah, they really, yeah. Same in Wonder Woman, when she, like, destroys the church. There could have been someone in there. Oof. Again, Mira just gone.
Oh, there goes the cape.
I know, tragic. That's the greatest loss of this entire movie. They really committed to this shade of purple on here too.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't make it like a muted purple. Like, that is like purple. I love it.
I really love this move.
Yeah, me too. It's so cool.
The fact that they put a haka in here is just like,
I know.
Yeah.
it's so great. It's like when you watch, like, have you guys seen like Jason's YouTube channel, like the vlogs that he did when this movie was coming out? Like, it's so amazing to like see like how much this movie means to like Mauna Kea and like other Polynesian people, like, because, and like the murals when he went to Australia and like somebody, like, I think it was a Maori artist, like did a whole mural for him with like the cultural symbols and everything, and it just like shows you like how much it matters, That's it.
It's just great to include that, and just like, especially like this and this last bit of the movie too. The fight scene is just so beautiful, and having the way he includes everything in here. Emily, this whole last bit of the movie is just fantastic.
No, I'm sorry. I wanted to make a correction. I said Mauna Kea, but like, I meant what's it? Jeez. There's like the name for like the ethnicity of like Hawaii is like something Maori. I think it's I don't want to say the wrong thing. That's the wrong thing. But I mixed it up with this other. Mauna Kea is the name of like one of like the sacred mountains that like they were having like, and they're still continuing to have like confrontation about it, because like It's like a whole lot of like imperialistic nonsense, and like if you guys want to look it up, it's like important. So if you feel like it.
I
Oh, I
love
figured
this
it out.
moment with Orin.
It's Kanaka Maori is the name of my ethnicity.
See, I love this because like Orm the entire time was like this movie was like, oh, my mother's a traitor and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But like
He can't face
her,
that idea when he's seeing her, you know?
Yeah. Like that's still his mom.
Yep. And that's the whole thing, too. Like, the only reason why he hates Arthur like he does is because he blames her supposed death on him. And when she's actually alive, like, that changes the way his whole thought process really is towards his brother.
Yeah, I feel like optimistically, he's gonna change, but like, he's Ocean Master, you know, and I feel like him being this big bad guy. Yeah, it's possible, but like, I feel like they're gonna keep him a bad guy for the sequel. Is she gonna cut her hair off, or is she gonna try and comb that out?
That's a good question.
I like that he at least offers him a chance to like talk it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah.
If only a certain God would have done the same with his brother instead of blaming him for everything.
I do think it's kind of interesting that, like, in this movie, they never actually give Arthur his Atlantean name that he has in the comics.
What is it?
Orin.
Orin?
Orin.
Like with an I?
No. Oh, wait, so Orin.
So an I then, like I said.
Sorry, I thought you meant like an I in the beginning.
No. Wait, where?
Wait, his name is Orin?
So Orin and Orin. God.
they're brothers, so.
Orin 1 and Orin 2.
I know, really, yeah.
God, that's like me and my. That's like when my. That's like. God, it's like me and my other brother. Because we're both. Yes, me and my brother have the same name.
Like.
First and last name.
Wait, what?
Wait, are you guys half brothers or like?
We're brothers on my dad's side.
Okay.
And he named both of us the same thing.
Because.
I don't know why. He just did for some reason.
Okay.
I have a very complicated family.
It's okay, it's like a small they were like
God, this
Jimmy
last.
Olsen.
Wait, does somebody in Smallville have the same name as their sibling too?
Yeah, Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, okay, hold on. The movie's almost over. We'll explain that after. I love this so much.
Yeah, come on. Someone do a print of that.
I know. I would literally buy that and frame it on my wall if Amy let me.
Yeah.
I love these end credits.
Me too. They're the best of the DCEU.
Yeah, DCU always has their end credits. Except like
most of them.
Yeah.
Okay, BVS end credits are great though because of that song.
No, it's
Like,
the music.
it punches me in the gut.
Okay, I just say I know you guys have been really critical of the soundtrack. I think this is a good song.
Yeah, this is the
This
best
is the
song
end
of the
credits.
movie.
The end credits are like,
Yeah.
In general.
Deborah.
hey, look at all these. Screw all these people.
Oh God, they're literally all listed. Bird, Johns, and
one.
Hamada.
No, screw him too.
It's so funny. Like you had the initial dopamine because you saw Debbie and Zack, and then immediately after that, they're like,
It literally
criminals.
was that. It was like Deborah Snyder, Zack Snyder, and then it was like Jeff, John, and Walter, and it was like, oh.
Yep.
But yes, these are beautiful.
I love it so much. Like it's...
Wonder Woman credits are also incredible. Too.
Yeah, they are. I think, and Shazams are fun.
I like Suicide Squads the most.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
too.
No, I love Birds of Prey.
Oh, Birds of Prey
yeah,
is
Birds of
really
Prey,
good too.
I did too.
Yeah.
So really, it's only as of right now, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League that don't.
But okay, here's the thing: the way Man of Steel's credits come in, because it's like the way the movie ends with that Hans Zimmer score, it's still like really incredible credits.
No, yeah, of course, it's like
They're just not visually incredible.
yeah. Well, I think part of it too. I think Man of Steel benefits from having incredible opening credits as well, like this movie did. I think.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to, we can stick around for that end credit scene, or we can not. It's up to you.
Yeah, we can stick around.
Yeah.
I can stick around.
But yeah, easily, I think these are my favorite. I see. That's the thing. I wouldn't mind end credits as much if they did something artistically with them more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know it costs a little bit more money, but like if you're already spending millions and millions of dollars, just do it. It gives more reason for people to stick around instead of seeing like just black credits and assistant director number 5's name. You know, like add some flair to it. Jeez.
I honestly forgot what the end credit scene was, but then I just remembered when like Rebecca was
This
like,
honestly, like, okay, I love the movie. This is so ridiculous.
it doesn't need this. It would have been so much more interesting if, like, in the sequel he just showed up, because you would have been like,
Yeah.
how did he survive?
Because this makes his death. Like, I feel so. That's the thing. Like, I feel like not you don't have to explain everything.
Like, come on.
You see, we definitely should have been dead, but you know.
And also, there's like a newspaper in the background that says, "Oh, is Aquaman dating Wonder Woman?"
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh god.
I mean, let's be fair. That would actually happen in this universe. Like, people would actually do stuff like that.
I don't. It's not like I feel like Zack's movies wouldn't have done that though. Like nothing against James, but I feel like that whoever printed that specific newspaper shouldn't have done it.
I don't have a problem with it. It's like,
Was that added in because they did the whole Aquaman, or like the whole thing in Justice League?
Well, I mean, actually, all of the scenes with this guy were shot way after the fact, and James
That's
Wan
what I'm
admitted
saying,
this.
right?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I don't know, I personally don't have a problem with it because, like, one thing I like about these movies is that, like the media is very much a part of it, and like the actual way that people react to things. Like there was that tabloid magazine in well, I don't know if Zack did this or if it was Joss, but like, you know, the tabloid, and it was like, did they go back to their planet? And it was like Prince and
Oh
Superman.
yeah.
Oh yes,
Like,
Prince,
I just-
David Bowie, and Superman.
I enjoy like the presence of just like regular media in these movies, and so like a tabloid magazine like printing like articles about like which superheroes are dating who, like I can buy that, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, like it totes a very delicate line of it just being there to try to force you to laugh, or there because it would make sense. And I feel like personally, that tabloid in this scene that I just played, it's too much for me. For me, it kind of reminds me of like that stupid news interview in Justice League of Emily. It reminds me of the Emily. My daughter is also very opinionated. Are you done? It reminds me of that stupid scene in Justice League where like the lady was like, or the news guy's like, this lady reports an alien stole her man.
Yeah.
Oh
that
yeah,
was
I
so
remember that.
cringy.
That was bad. That was cringe.
See, that's the thing. Like, it's like stuff like that is always super cringy to me. So I feel like unless it's used to actually help further the universe in a way that's not just being there to be stupid funny, it's not necessary. And I think the tabloids and the Aquaman end credit scene are unnecessary. Like, that specific tabloid, like, why would this doctor need a newspaper article about Aquaman potentially dating Wonder Woman?
For his fan fiction, of course.
Wow.
He has to know if it's canon.
This is all day, just FYI. I wouldn't change it for anything, but for anyone who's not a parent and wants to know what a parent as a toddler is like, this is just her throwing toys everywhere and shouting at the top of her lungs for majority of the day.
Trust me, I've watched I have had to watch toddlers as a teacher assistant. Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
Yeah. Now that the movie's over, so how do you guys feel about the movie now that we've torn it to shreds thanks to Rebecca?
I still think it's the same reaction. I don't think I like it anymore or like it any less, to be honest.
Yeah, for me, it's like it's like, even when I first, I guess, saw the trailer, I was like, okay, sure, I'll watch this. Like, I feel similar about this movie the way I feel about Wonder Woman, where it's not like my most favorite movie, but it's like, it's just there, and I'm like, okay, it'll do. It's nice.
Like, I liked it. I enjoy it every time. So, but I'm not like over the moon about it or anything.
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Well, it's not my favorite DCEU movie.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get, like, I'm not in love with it, but I enjoy it. So, yeah, and it's super ambitious and beautiful, and yeah, it's great, but, like, yeah, I'm not, like, in love with the movie or anything.
Damn, I'm like going to be the most positive person on here. I love this movie. And obviously, like, all jokes aside, like, while I am critical of some things in the movie, like, I still have a lot of fun with it, and I think, like, for myself personally, it definitely ranks higher than a lot of other comic book movies in the genre. Like, for example, a lot of the MCU. Because, one, like, I love the Aquaman character. I love the stuff that they do with Aquaman and Mira in this movie. And with Orm, and with pretty much all the main characters. Like, I really love what they did. The movie looks beautiful. I really like the story. And just for me, like, while it's definitely, it dropped a spot on my list of DCEU movies, I still think it's fantastic. And I enjoy it more than I enjoy Wonder Woman. I enjoy it more than I enjoy Shazam. Like, and it does, to me, and it anyway, kind of feel like the last of the quote-unquote Snyderverse movies. And I love Birds of Prey, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that movie can exist with or without Zack Snyder's setup, whereas I feel like Aquaman, you almost kind of need the universe built in a way that Aquaman is needed, you know what I mean? Like, so that's where I'm like, of two minds of like, I love Birds of Prey, but that can stand on its own, where like Aquaman can stand on its own to a degree, but I still feel like it's better with the more fleshed out universe, even though it doesn't rely on it. So that's why, like, with Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out, I'm more excited to see what they do with Aquaman there and how they can more or less set up this movie. Do you want to share your opinion, Emily? Do you like Aquaman? No? Yes? Or just... Well, that's my daughter's opinion on Aquaman. But yeah, I mean, I
think as a whole, like, it's a good starting point for what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying at the beginning, I really hope that James Wan actually does bring in a bit more like horror elements into future Aquaman films.
Mm-hmm.
But not even necessarily like scary per se, but just like, I don't know, like if you've watched his films, he has like a certain flair for how he does horror films, and that would look super, super cool, I think.
Yeah.
Visually.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and I hope so too.
To
Like,
films.
yeah, I just hope that like what he does in the sequel is that, like, again, as much as I love this movie, like, give the story a little more breathing room. Like, if you don't need, like, which unfortunately I didn't notice until Al pointed out, was how many random explosions there are in the middle of a scene, in the middle of an important scene. that to break the tension and have action. So I wish that I hope there's a little less of that and just more like character building and a little bit more world building, a little bit more just like focusing on the story and the characters more so than having to have an action scene every 10-15 minutes, you know? Like, not that I hate it in this movie, but just things that can be improved upon. And that's the thing, too. Like, I think in this fandom especially, like, and I understand why, like, we don't need to be, like, of a love it or hate it mentality. I think we need to allow room for middle ground as far as like, how we talk about these movies. Because, especially, like, I mean, I feel like with BVS and Man of Steel, essentially, or as an example, like, people, like you have to absolutely love Man of Steel and Batman v Superman wholeheartedly, or else you can't be considered a true Zack Snyder fan or a true DCU fan. I love those movies. I don't personally see any problem with those movies, but, like, not everyone feels the exact same way. And that's the thing, like, as much as I give Rebecca a hard time, like, at the end of the day, I'm not really, like, against her for feeling the way she does, or if Al the way he does, or Dash the way you feel, you know, like, I'm not saying you guys, like, feel negatively about the movie, but I'm just saying, like, we all have different experiences with these movies, and I think we need to allow to have those conversations of, like, yes, you can enjoy this movie, but let's not just be blind to, like, okay, to never talk about problems it may or may not have, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, like, not one of those movies I would die on a hill for, you know? Like,
I mean, I would, but here's the and that's the thing about, like, why I did this podcast in the first place, is that we all have different opinions. Yes, we all love the DCEU as a whole, but that's why we have these conversations, is because we all are different people with different experiences going into these, so it makes for more interesting conversation. So yeah.
I would just love for, like, in future films, not necessarily that, like, other characters from, like, the Justice League would cameo or anything like that, but like, selfishly, I just want a lot of, like, the female characters to interact with each other. Like,
yeah.
I think it would be super cool if, like, Lois and, like, Mira had a scene in something in the future. But, you know, that's just, like...
I agree. See, that's the thing, like, I wouldn't mind more... I know Warner Brothers is still kind of trigger shy on that, as far as that kind of stuff, especially because, like, whether or not they're, after Zack Snyder's Justice League releases, whether or not they officially confirm that as canon, or just stick with Joss's version as being canon, that's still... I mean, they said that Zack's takes place in its own thing, but I feel like if the Snyder Cut does well enough, they might change their tune, so we'll see. But my point is, I do agree that I do hope they just do a little more world building, in the sense that, like, have a character or two pop up. It doesn't need to be like a huge out of nowhere cameo, but just like add on to the world a little bit. Have characters be able to interact in a way that makes sense naturally, instead of just like being like, oh, here's a Captain America video thrown in here because it's the MCU. Homecoming.
Yeah.
You know. But you know what I mean. So I'm hopeful for a sequel, as far as like hoping it'll improve upon what I already like about the movie and changing some things that I wasn't as hot on, you know. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
Because I'm enjoying that, the fact that each movie is connected in some way, but it's still its own thing. But I would like, the occasional reference to another movie, like, oh, I saw that in it, like similar to how Suicide Squad did it, where not Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, where they had Boomerang's mugshot on there, and then Harley was like, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, as like obvious, like a blink, like a, if you know it, you know it, but if you don't, like, not that big a deal, you know.
Yeah, like, I don't want like whole cameos or anything like that. But
or even like, I think Shazam did it really well too. Minus like the fake Superman at the end, but like, they had Freddy like wear the t-shirts and
like his like shrine to Superman, which I totally relate to.
Yeah.
And also, that's the thing, like, that movie can also exist in a world where obviously in that world Man of Steel happened, and like obviously they don't talk about it directly, but they have the Time magazine cover with Zod's ship, and they have the Batarang from BVS and stuff like that. So like, as much
Lois Lane in one of Freddy's pictures has orange hair.
What? Oh, well, I mean, why wouldn't she? mean. But yeah, I mean, as far as like you can do world building without Emily. I think she's trying to signal me that she needs to take a nap. So wrapping up here, as I'm trying to get my child to calm down for a second. I really love this movie. I hope the sequel can add upon certain things and do certain things in a way that just make for a good story and good character development. And that's really all I care about. And I'm excited to do more of these commentaries. We're probably going to end up doing Shazam next. I can't guarantee when we're going to do it because all of our schedules are all over the place. So if it takes another few weeks, I apologize, but it is what it is. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. My daughter is very adamant about me going away because she keeps trying to pull me away. So real quick, if you guys each want to go around and tell everyone when they can find you online.
I am Outspeed, and you can find me at Almost Art. I forgot what the last number is. You can just ask one of them; they'll tell you what it is.
I'm Dash, and you can find me on Twitter at Lee-N.
I'm Rebecca, and I'm Rebecca_MJ12 on Twitter.
All right, then you guys find me here at Nerdy Nook on YouTube, True Man of Steel on Tumblr, and then at True Man of Steel _ on Twitter. Thanks guys again for being here, watching along. It was a lot of fun. I'll tell you guys in the chat. For everyone listening, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you guys all soon. Have a good one.
All right, bye.
Bye.